So Zelina Vega may be on her way back to the WWE, but why? Why is Vega on her way back now? Where does she actually fit in? On what brand does she go to? Is she going to be a difference maker? I will answer all of these questions, and still, after everyone advocated for WWE to bring her back, is it the right decision now? Also, I have major news on where Bray Wyatt is. Why is Bray Wyatt off of television? And when will he be back on Monday Night Raw? Plus the big one, there are rumors circulating more and more every single day about the inner turmoil in the Elite. Cody Rhodes, Matt and Nick Jackson, the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, and Adam Hangman Page. There is internal turmoil where it's being reported that all of them do not like each other anymore and that there is legit heat. What does this mean for AEW? And what major name is afraid to sign with AEW because of this legitimate heat between the Elite? All this plus so much more right here on episode 376 of Off the Script. What is going on, guys? Thank you so very much for joining me right here on Off the Script. This is episode 376 for your May 15th, 2021. I am, of course, JD from New York. We got a lot to go over, man, not only with what I talked about in the open of the show to kind of whet your appetite. We got other news that I'm sure you guys will be interested in. There's a major news story as it pertains to Alexa Bliss and what WWE's potential end game for her character will be. Now, we all know WWE introduced Lilly the doll with Alexa Bliss, and WWE's already thinking about a real-life adaptation for Lilly the doll, as they did the same thing for Bray Wyatt. Alexa Bliss was kind of a real-life adaptation to the Sister Abigail character. And now they're thinking about the same thing when it comes to Alexa Bliss. Speaking of Bray Wyatt, where is Bray Wyatt? I got major news on why Bray Wyatt is not on TV and a reason why WWE is not featuring him on Monday Night Raw. So we will go over that as well today on the show. I got Summerslam news, potential cities, which right now is the leading city in the United States to host WWE's second biggest pay-per-view of the year. WWE's going back out on tour in July. AEW is going back out on tour with Dynamite in July. Things are starting to get back to normal. So I got news on all of that. I got news on Keith Lee as well. I got news on Humberto Carrillo and the injury scare that came out of Monday Night's Raw. I also got NXT news, AEW news. I also have news on the Velveteen Dream. The very, and I mean very latest in regards to the Velveteen Dream. And it's not going to make people happy, man. It's not going to make people happy. For everybody that wants him fired, WWE is thinking the opposite. He may be back on TV sooner rather than later. And possible plans on Eva Marie. Where is WWE's mindset when it comes to all red everything on Monday Night Raw? All I know is I don't like it. I don't like it at all, and I think it's going to be several steps backwards in whatever WWE has built up over the last couple of years for the women's division. But seeing the state of the women's division right now, adding Eva Marie is just another thing to add to the list about how WWE doesn't give a shit about women's wrestling. So we'll go over that, man. Like I said, it's a loaded show. There's a lot on my plate today, and we're going to get right into it in just a little bit. But once again, I want to thank everybody for joining me here on your Saturday afternoon. Follow me on social media, man. That is Twitter and Instagram, at JD from NY206. Thank you to everybody that has followed on the Twitter side of things. We are nearing 32,000 followers on Twitter. Make sure you guys go and check out all the other videos, the live streams that we did for Monday Night Raw, NXT on Tuesday, AEW on Wednesday, and then Friday Night SmackDown as of last night. Make sure you guys go and check all that stuff out if you have not done so. They are right there on the channel home page. Easy for you to find. Everything is put in its own category and its own playlist. Go and check that stuff out if you have not done so. Patreon.com/JD from NY206. If you guys want to support the podcast through the Patreon side of things, we got the baseball bat insignia, off the script beer mugs. We got the Are We Live t-shirts, only exclusive to Patreon. That is an annual subscription only. Patreon.com/JD from NY206. Make sure you guys go and get your t-shirts. Bonfire.com is the home of Off the Script and the official Off the Script shop. Go and get your masks, still available. Mouthmasker.com/OTS. The black and white Off the Script masks are still in stock. And make sure you guys go and check my sponsor for today's video, man. We are sponsored today by my great friends over at Advanced GG. That is advanced.gg. Make sure you guys go and sign up with them. They got some incredible flavors, and it's the #1 leader in esports gaming supplements, man. I actually took some Advanced GG before I hit record on today's podcast, and I'm feeling ready to go, man. Ready to go. All natural, organic, developed by scientists, natural caffeine from green tea. It is awesome, man. You want to stay focused? Then you need some Advanced GG. Not only for gaming, man. I do it for podcasting. I do it for just everything that I do in my daily routine, work, working out, you name it, man. You guys are still in school studying for those big finals? Advanced GG also got you covered there, man. Advanced.gg. You guys are going to use code SCRIPT at checkout to save 10% off anything and everything every single time. That is advanced.gg. Use code SCRIPT at checkout for 10% off. Once again, I want to start off and say thoughts and prayers and my condolences to the family of Jerome White, a.k.a. New Jack, ECW legend New Jack, who passed away on Friday afternoon at the age of 58 from what is being reported was an apparent heart attack. I mentioned this on the SmackDown podcast on Friday night when I was live on YouTube. There will never be another New Jack. There will never be anybody that duplicates or emulates or anything along those lines with what New Jack did. I remember back in the day when I was just finding ECW, New Jack was one of the guys that stuck out to me first and foremost. You had your RVDs and Sabus and your Bam Bam Bigelows and your Shane Douglases, your Justin Credibles, your Jerry Lynn's. You had all those guys over there, man. New Jack was one of the guys that just stuck out like a sore thumb. Coming out to Dr. Dre, beating the shit out of people, making people bleed. Fearless, jumping off a 4-story fucking balcony through tables, taking a cheese grater and just shredding somebody's flesh. Awesome, man. Crowd went wild. Crowd went wild. He put the E in extreme. He was actually more extreme than ECW. It's unbelievable, man. New Jack was definitely somebody that I look back on when I was finding ECW in my high school days that really just took me and sucked me on into the ECW product, the true alternative to what WWF during the time was doing and WCW was doing on Monday night. Thoughts and prayers to New Jack, a.k.a. Jerome Young, and all of his family, and I wish them well, and he will be missed. He will be missed. It's just sad. We just got done watching his documentary on Dark Side of the Ring last season, and I know some people that are in the community that were interviewing him, and they had interviews set to go right before his passing, and it's just ominous, man. It really is. Things like that. It's sad. It really is. So my thoughts and prayers go out to the family of Jerome White, and he will be missed. He will be missed, man. Rest in peace, New Jack, the original gangster, the original OG. I want to start off with this one, man. Let's start off light, and we'll build up, and we'll get into the bigger stories in just a little bit. The CDC is changing guidelines for how people wear masks. If you are fully vaccinated, you do not need to wear masks inside, or at least it could be eased. With the CDC ordering new guidelines and easing restrictions for mask wearing, WWE is making life easier for their roster as well. Earlier this week, WWE sent out an email to people noting that they're giving more fans the opportunity to attend NXT shows starting next week. In this same email, it was noted that WWE is still giving out COVID-19 tests to fans for free so that they may attend these shows. Dave Meltzer reported in the latest edition of the Wrestling Observer newsletter that there is also a minor change to the testing procedure for the roster wrestlers, everybody on the roster as well. Before, talent had to get tested the day before the show with the idea that they would be tested. Then they have to go back to their hotel or go back home, and they get their results, and then they could proceed with their day. So talent had to get tested before the day of the show with the idea that they would know who failed and who could adjust accordingly. It was pointed out that now, with so many wrestlers being vaccinated, those who come from out of town get tested in Tampa at the hotel the day before the show. WWE airs shows in Tampa, Florida, at the Yuengling Center. Those who live in Orlando can avoid the drive to Tampa the day before the show and get tested in the morning at the Performance Center in Orlando, travel home, wait on the results. Once getting cleared, they can travel to the building for their show a few hours later. This is done for convenience to those that live in the Orlando area and those that live in the Tampa area to schedule them around the travel better. Before this change, talent had to drive to Tampa, wait for the results, then stay home, and they would be there all day until they got a call on whether they were positive or negative. For the NXT talent, they can test in the morning rather than the day before and go back home for several hours, as most of the NXT performers live in the Orlando area. So that's some good news for them. It's a better way of life that way. So it's good to see WWE changing their COVID-19 testing procedures to appease the wrestlers a little bit easier, as I know that must be frustrating. AEW Dynamite. Speaking of COVID-19 and testing and touring, Dynamite is set to resume touring this July. 3 dates already announced. Now, on top of these dates, we got Double or Nothing coming up Memorial Day weekend. Double or Nothing will emanate from Daly's Place in Jacksonville, Florida. Full capacity. That is 5,500 people inside Daly's Place for what is going to be a raucous crowd Memorial Day weekend. I will be at the Double or Nothing Fan Fest in Jacksonville. I will be in Jacksonville Memorial Day weekend. I will be holding a meet and greet in Jacksonville during Double or Nothing weekend. I hope to meet you guys either A, at the Fan Fest on that Saturday, or B, at the OTS meet and greet, and we already have a location for that. If you guys are going to be in town for Double or Nothing in Jacksonville, the meet and greet will take place at the Intuition Ale Works. That is like a 5-minute walk from Daly's Place from 1 to 4, and it's going to be awesome. So come on out, hang out. We'll have some cold beverages. We'll talk wrestling. Jesse and I, my partner in crime on Wednesday during the Dynamite live streams, we will be there. Jesse will be there. Hoot Media will be there, and it's going to be great. So make sure you guys show up. If you're in town or you live in the Florida area, making the trip to Jacksonville, or if you live in the Jacksonville area, make sure you come on out. I'd love to see every single one of you, as this is going to be my first event since the pandemic started, man. And we had a great meet and greet. The last time we did a meet and greet was right here in New York City, in Manhattan, at Hooters, right outside of Madison Square Garden. And the turnout was unreal, man. There was a line out the door to come and see me and hang out with me. I mean, that's just fucking ridiculous. And if you don't believe me, Big Hodge filmed it all. So it's going to be awesome. I'd love to meet you guys in Jacksonville, so come on out. But with AEW doing Jacksonville, Double or Nothing, full capacity, they're moving out of Daly's Place come July. They announced the news that fans have been waiting for over a year. That is road dates and back to touring. The promotion confirmed on Monday morning in a statement issued on their website that they would be holding 3 road shows in July. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the promotion has been holding shows in Jacksonville, Florida at Daly's Place. When the promotion holds its Double or Nothing pay-per-view event on May 30th, it will mark the first time that they will have full capacity at a show in over a year. Fans can expect more dates and locations to be announced for future Road Dynamite shows. They issued the following, and I quote, AEW Dynamite is back on the road live with ticketed events in Miami, Austin, Texas, and Dallas, Texas. Rescheduled dates announced for St. Louis and New Orleans shows. May 10th. This comes from May 10th, 2021. After safely hosting 27 live ticketed events throughout the last 9 months at Daly's Place in Jacksonville, Florida, AEW is bringing the excitement of its flagship show, AEW Dynamite, to Miami, Austin, and Dallas this summer. AEW will become the first major wrestling promotion to safely return to a traveling schedule since March of 2020. I want to reiterate that to you again. AEW will become the first major wrestling promotion to safely return to a traveling schedule since March of 2020. Keep that in the back of your mind. The dates for the live shows in Miami, Austin, and Dallas are the following. Wednesday, July 7th at the James L. Knight Center in Miami, Florida. Wednesday, July 14th from the HEB Center in Cedar Park, Texas, the greater Austin area. Wednesday, July 21, this is at the Curtis Colwell Center in Garland, Texas. That is the greater Dallas area. It's going to be great, man. It's going to be awesome. The one thing I do wonder is how well AEW is going to be selling in these markets. These are big wrestling city markets. Are they going to get a great turnout for fans returning to live AEW Dynamite shows outside of Jacksonville? I certainly hope so. And I do think that fans are going to come out. I think the majority of people are vaccinated, number one. Number two, I think people are just itching to get back out there and attend their first show. And they're excited to do so. It's the summer. Things are different. Things are a lot better, a lot different than they were last summer. I think everybody's going to be itching to get back out there. Now, there will be some people that are very iffy about even now attending a show, even if you are vaccinated. Some people might not be vaccinated. Some people might have to get tested to see if they test positive or negative. Some people might not go at all just because they don't want to have to deal with the restrictions. So there will be a large number of people that are very hesitant, even still vaccinated or not, to even attend anything, not just a wrestling show. People are still hesitant about going out and having dinner outside at a restaurant. So it's going to be very interesting to see how many tickets AEW does sell when these shows do come around. But all I know is I'm excited, man. No number of people, big or small, is going to bother me. Just to see AEW Dynamite outside of Daly's Place and inside a different venue is going to mean everything to me. It's going to mean everything to me. It's going to mean everything to you. And it's going to mean everything to the show. We've gotten so bored and so tired of looking at the same setup every single week, hearing the same people, seeing the wrestlers at ringside do their thing. I'm over it, man. I want to see actual fans sitting behind the barricade. I want to see signs in attendance again. I want to see people with their silly chants and their unique energy, bringing that energy to the crowd, to the show. It's going to be unreal. And I think it's going to be a big night. AEW is going to stack that show on July 7th. That is going to be a true reset of everything. And I do think in my heart that AEW has been sitting on some major plans that we have not seen on Dynamite yet. If Dynamite has felt a little off to you as far as creativity, and Dynamite has felt a little off about some certain booking situations, I do think that Tony Khan is holding back on some things that he did not want to unleash yet because he was operating out of Daly's place. I do think that they got some major plans and they waited for this. And once things continually get back to normal and with the start of this are consistent, you're going to see everything that AEW wanted to do but couldn't do because there was no fans in attendance. Now we're back to that, and I'm expecting to see bigger, better Dynamites every single week. This is awesome. I can't wait. We're going to keep a close eye on that, and I'm very excited for those shows coming up in July. There was a report immediately after this was released by AEW. Everybody started asking, well, AEW is going back on the road first. What about WWE? Are they going to now push up their dates? And are they going to go back on tour well before SummerSlam because AEW is doing it? There was a report coming out this week from WrestleVotes, and WWE, it was reported, wasn't concerned about AEW going on tour, going back on the road before they did it. Now, I found that very hard to believe. You all know WWE wants to be number one in everything. WWE wants to be the number one leader in sports entertainment. They want to brag about how they beat the NFL in attendance for the Super Bowl. They want to brag about how many people they have on social media through all their social media outlets. WWE loves that spotlight. They love garnering that publicity for their brand. WWE didn't seem too bothered by it. Bullshit. So we're going to go in chronological order here, folks. WrestleVotes noted this week that WWE plans to resume touring, and they will not be impacted by the decision AEW is making to go out on tour starting July 7th. They say, and I quote, "From a few sources I've asked, it doesn't seem like AEW starting back on the road in July will impact WWE's return to touring plans. Now, while this could change as Vince and company like to be number one for these types of things, as of today, August still looks to be on for them." End quote. It's great. That's great. WWE is not bothered by AEW going back out on the road. That was earlier in the week from WrestleVotes. Then we got Matt Men's Andrew Zarian. Matt Men podcast, which is a part of the Wrestling Observer family. Andrew Zarian, a very good colleague of mine. I've done commentary with Andrew Zarian. I've hung out with Andrew. He's a good dude. And if he's putting his name out there with something, he also reported about NXT moving to Tuesday, and we all know that ended up being 100% legit. So if he's putting his name out there from the sources that he has in his back pocket, you know that this news is legit. Just throwing that out there right now. WWE is not bothered by AEW. Bullshit. This is why Andrew's reporting WWE is set to resume live event touring in July. It's great. That's great. But don't tell me that WWE is not bothered by AEW doing something before them. We all know that WWE is a major culprit of the AEW effect. If AEW is doing something, then WWE's either got to do the same thing or counterbalance what they're doing or counteract what they're doing, and then they got to do it better. They came out and said that Blood and Guts a couple weeks back was an embarrassment to the industry, and it set the industry back 30 years. Why is that? Why did it set the industry back 30 years? How could it have possibly set the industry back 30 years when you got Damian Priest and the New Day throwing fucking tomatoes at Miz and Morrison's crotch? How could it have set the industry back when you got Alexa Bliss throwing fireballs at Randy Orton and summoning light fixtures down from the Thunderdome to fall on him? I don't really understand this. How is it setting the industry back when Monday Night Raw is the worst program in the history of pro wrestling? How is it setting the industry back when you had The Miz, who was previously WWE champion, showing up on TV the next week after losing the championship, dancing in bunny costumes, rapping about Bad Bunny? And those are just things that happened in the last month. Give me a break, folks. Give me a break. WWE is out of their fucking mind. Why is it an embarrassment to the industry? Because you can't do it? Because you're a publicly traded company? Maybe AEW had sponsors out there that you looked at as potential partners, but they ended up partnering with AEW. Or maybe you're just salty that Vince McMahon mentioned Blood and Guts on an investor call. I don't know how AEW is going to stand for that. Or TNT, I don't know how they're going to stand for that Blood and Guts by AEW. You just pretty much gave them the name. Are you salty about that? That they used your fucking stupidity as fuel to their fire? AEW effect, folks. If WWE is not talking about AEW in some way, shape, or form on the things that they do, they wouldn't be happy. And now they're set to tour in July. As previously noted, WWE is looking at July 16th to begin touring. As of yet, there's no word on what cities they plan on going out to, but the live touring schedule will be for the main roster only, beginning with Friday Night SmackDown. Now, I don't know if this is tour, house shows, or if this is going to start with Friday Night SmackDown, moving out of the Thunderdome, and then them getting out there on the road with both Raw and SmackDown. I mean, it says here it will begin with Friday Night SmackDown, but we're not really sure. We're not really sure what this completely entails. July 16th is 2 weeks after AEW would have already had 2 live shows on Dynamite, July 7 and July 14 from Miami and Texas. So it's going to be interesting where WWE lands as far as getting back out on the road. As previously noted, WWE is looking into July 16th. Locations for SummerSlam are also being discussed. I'll get into that in a second. SummerSlam is potentially being held at Madison Square Garden. That's one of the rumors. Potentially being held in Las Vegas. Phoenix was also another one. Florida's also always open. WWE is looking to get out back on the road and make the rest of the year, especially for their biggest shows of the year, a big deal. So we will find out soon what is happening with SummerSlam. But as of July 16, WWE may be out of the Thunderdome, and Friday Night SmackDown may look like normal once again. I can't wait for them to move out of the Thunderdome. I am so over the virtual geeks. I'm over the crowd being piped in, the fake chants. Nothing is genuine. I mean, some of you might not mind. I mind. There's nothing like a real, raw, live crowd. And WWE has been living in this false fucking sense of security, you know? Oh, look, there's nobody to shit on our show. You know? They've been living in their own bubble. The fans directly are responsible for telling WWE what they like and what they don't like. They don't have that right now. And if you think that's a good thing for WWE to have, you're a complete fucking idiot. You need the fans in attendance to tell you what you don't like, what you like, who you want to see on TV, what you want to see less of. They'll give you their reaction. Either it's going to be dead silent or they're going to shit on the entire fucking show. Maybe you'll get a piped-in CM Punk chant every now and then. That's always something that goes over well with WWE. At that point, you know that they fucking hate your show. That they got a chant somebody's name that's been gone for 8 years. I love it. Where you might hate it, I love it because that is the ultimate fuck you, WWE. Get this shit away from me. They need live fans more than ever, man. NXT needs live fans more than anybody. Those shows have been terrible. Terrible in a sense where it's not bad. It's just there's no life. There's no life. NXT still even pipes in chants when they have a live crowd there. It's awful. So we will see what happens. But WWE not being bothered by AEW? Bullshit, folks. Bullshit. AEW is always something that bothers WWE. Everything that they do better, everything that they do first bothers WWE. The AEW effect, man, I've been crying about it for about 3 years now. 3 years now. AEW effect. It's real. It's always been real. Just takes a little bit longer for people to realize that it's a thing. WWE is locked in a date for SummerSlam. It appears that WWE will be sticking with SummerSlam in August because PW Insider reported this week that the plan is for the show to take place on Sunday, August 22nd. WWE is still working on securing a location for the show since some states are relaxing restrictions, and with AEW and other sporting events looking to run events at full capacity, it's likely SummerSlam will run in a standard arena with fans at full capacity. Now, there were rumors this week. Now, Meltzer almost got in some deep shit because he mentioned Madison Square Garden. Phoenix was first talked about, Phoenix, Arizona. Somewhere in Texas has been reported as well for hosting SummerSlam. Meltzer reported earlier this week when he said he shouldn't even be revealing this information that WWE is considering holding the show at Madison Square Garden in New York City. That would be great. That would be awesome. That would be such a great get for the city, man. It really would be. The latest comes from Fightful Select and Sean Ross Sapp. And Fightful is reporting there have been several cities and locations discussed, but internally, Las Vegas seems to be gaining a lot of steam. Vegas does have Allegiant Stadium, where the Raiders play. Should be noted that WWE wants to hold the show at an outdoor venue. So the only problem with this stadium is the roof doesn't open. It's still possible if WWE decides on the venue or even another stadium in the state of Nevada. Vince McMahon's company is headed towards WrestleMania Backlash this Sunday, but how much do they have Backlash booked? I'll get into that in a second because we're talking about SummerSlam. There is undecided decisions about SummerSlam. There's undecided decisions about where the show is going to be. People in WWE, they are correlating all of this to be in the same bubble. There's just a lot of indecision in WWE right now. Las Vegas seems to be a great location for SummerSlam. If they announced Las Vegas, I think that would be fantastic. That would actually get me interested to possibly go out there. I think Las Vegas is a great city for pro wrestling. It's a fun city. I haven't been to Vegas since the pandemic, obviously. I've been there twice before. I felt like I never got to do a lot of what I wanted to do because there's just so much to do in Las Vegas. But going out there for AEW Double or Nothing, man, I had a blast. I really did have a blast. So if WWE goes to Vegas for SummerSlam, you might be counting me in for that. I think that sounds great. Madison Square Garden, I mean, how can't you like Madison Square Garden? I don't even know the last time WWE has held a pay-per-view at Madison Square Garden, but I know when WWE does, it's electric. And I love the setup in Madison Square Garden as well for those older shows. I would love if WWE went back and did a throwback look to SummerSlam in Madison Square Garden. I think that would be great. But as far as SummerSlam, that is the news there. We got Backlash on Sunday. I mentioned Backlash before. This is all coming from Ringside News. They don't have much as far as planning goes for Backlash. SummerSlam is undecided on card, obviously. You think WWE's got a plan for SummerSlam this far out? Nope. They don't even have a venue. Backlash, this is coming from Ringside News. They are being told that nothing is WWE or nothing in WWE is mapped out right now except the push to the July pay-per-view. As of this writing, Ringside News has been told that every pay-per-view up until SummerSlam has a name internally as well. We were also told here at Ringside News that SummerSlam is not booked. The company is pushing to get as much done as possible, but they also aren't looking too far ahead. Clearly, they're not looking too far ahead because they don't really have much mapped out for Backlash. I think there may be 6 matches in total on the card. So they really don't have much of anything going on at Backlash that people give a shit about. They don't have a venue announced for SummerSlam. They don't have anything booked past Backlash. Things are booked on a week-to-week basis, on a show-to-show basis. You see it. All you got to do is watch. They don't have any vision whatsoever. I don't even know what the July pay-per-view is. They say they have names, but we don't know what their names are. They don't have dates because they're all operating out of the Thunderdome. They could do whatever the fuck they want. They don't have to sell tickets. So I mentioned this on Friday night when I did the SmackDown live stream. WWE has been heavily teasing a King of the Ring. Do we get a King of the Ring pay-per-view? Do we get Money in the Bank happening this summer in June? I would assume after Backlash in May, we get Money in the Bank in June. July, maybe we get a Great American Bash. Maybe we get a King of the Ring. Maybe we get something else that WWE came up with that's new. Who knows? Extreme Rules. I would assume WWE goes the regular route and does Extreme Rules, but nothing on WWE TV is extreme. The Extreme Rules concept is as dead as the Hell in a Cell and the TLC gimmick pay-per-view concepts. WWE is probably going to go that route, but I would change it and do King of the Ring instead. Have the King of the Ring be something that bridges the SummerSlam and WrestleMania pay-per-views. You got all these D-level shows, put a King of the Ring in there, bridge that to SummerSlam, come up with your number one contender for the WWE or Universal Championships. It's easy. Make fun of everything that's going on, or make it look fun. WWE doesn't really understand the definition of the word fun. They want to go and do the most boring thing possible, the most formulaic thing. And listen, if WWE is going to get back out there in front of fans in July, I think it's best in your interest to make some captivating decisions. That's what I really do think is number one priority for WWE right now. Don't go back and do what you are accustomed to doing. Go back and change the fucking game. We're now heading towards normalcy. So give us something that we want to genuinely be excited about and find interest in. That's just the way I see it. So WWE doesn't have a location for SummerSlam. They got a date. They don't have anything coming out of Backlash on Sunday. They got no plans going into the July pay-per-view. We don't even know what the July pay-per-view is. Needless to say, WWE, Bruce, Vince, and everybody else that works there, that's a suit and tie, don't have vision. Everything else is a lot more important than the actual TV product and moving things along creatively. It's frustrating as far as me being a fan is concerned. I don't know about you guys, but it's fucking really frustrating for me. Becky Lynch, she's back. Not really on TV, but she is on her way back. She's working out. She's posting more on social media. And Becky Lynch will be with the WWE for years to come because she just signed a new WWE contract as of a few weeks ago. Ringside News is reporting that Becky Lynch has signed a new deal with the WWE. This was done just a few weeks ago. There was actually talk of Lynch returning at WrestleMania 37, potentially being in a ding-dong, hello, Bayley segment at WrestleMania. And they heard that back in November that Vince McMahon was hoping to have Becky Lynch back legitimately in the ring by WrestleMania. That may have been a little too far-fetched, a little bit risky there, but she will be back regardless. And WWE, I'll get to that in a second. They don't really need Becky Lynch back on television now. They don't know what the fuck they're doing with the women's division, let alone Becky Lynch. How is Becky Lynch being back on television going to fix the problems that the WWE has brought upon us with the women's divisions on Raw and SmackDown? It's not going to change a thing, ladies and gentlemen. Now, Ringside News also heard that the company eventually wants to do a singles match between Becky Lynch and Ronda Rousey. That match may not happen until next year at the earliest because Rousey is currently pregnant with her first child. Lynch and her last contract was signed in March of 2019 for multiple years, and she actually got a pay raise. There is no word yet on the terms of the new deal, but since she is considered to be one of the biggest draws, it's likely that WWE locked her in for at least 3 more years, and they obviously gave her more money. Becky Lynch being back on television is not going to change a thing, folks. It'll be something that makes a change and a difference first week, second week, 3 weeks maybe. After that, things will go back to normal. I mean, if Sasha Banks and Bayley and Bianca Belair and the rise of all of those 3 women over the past year really didn't do much of anything on Fox on Friday night, then Becky Lynch is not going to do anything on WWE and Monday Night Raw. I'm sorry. It's not going to work out that way. First of all, we don't even know what brand she's going to be on because her husband is on SmackDown. Is she going to be placed on SmackDown or is she going to go to Monday Night Raw? It makes sense storyline-wise for her to chase the Raw Women's Championship, being that she never lost it and she gave it up. So the story right there is built in to have her placed on that brand and chase either Rhea Ripley or Asuka or, unfortunately, Charlotte Flair, which nobody really cares to see. I think that would be just painfully boring and going back and WWE resting on their laurels. We don't really need to see that. They've had so much time in the ring together that I don't really care to see it again. Becky Lynch on SmackDown presents a lot of different opportunities, man. I'd like to see Becky and Sasha Banks go at it again. I feel like WWE only put Sasha Banks in a feud with Becky Lynch because Becky Lynch and her run was ruined by WWE Creative. There really wasn't a good, solid, top-level heel for Becky Lynch to work with as a babyface. Sasha Banks was the only one because she was a babyface. She left and left the company, wanted to quit the company. They brought her back. They turned her into a heel. She challenged Becky Lynch for the championship, had a major match at Hell in a Cell, which ended up being one of the best Hell in a Cell matches of all time. That was the only time that Becky really had a solid opponent for her Raw Women's Championship. And I felt like we as fans were cheated there. We really didn't get a lot of that. It was only brought upon us because WWE had nobody else. They had to bring Sasha Banks back. They had to bring Sasha back to television. They had to make her a heel because Becky Lynch had nobody else. I feel like we could get a continuation of that on SmackDown. Bayley versus Becky Lynch, I'll take that. I'll take Bayley versus anybody, really. Bayley's been one of the best things in the entire company, never mind the women's division. Bianca Belair versus Becky Lynch, I think that would be great too. Maybe you bring up Io Shirai. You can really change the game with names like that. But Becky Lynch is not going to make an impact herself. Maybe the first couple weeks, but it's not going to really be a difference maker over the long stretch. People are going to be happy to see her back. People are going to be happy to see her after pregnancy. She's going to talk about being a mother and all this shit, right? Becky Lynch is a big merchandise seller, but nobody's coming to these shows to see women's wrestling. Nobody. It's going to be something that fades very, very quickly. And with the creative process behind the women in WWE, I don't really give them much credit whatsoever. I'm not giving them any benefit of the doubt because with Becky Lynch being gone all these months, they've buried that division on Raw and on SmackDown into the fucking ground. Asuka doesn't look the same or feel the same. Rhea Ripley doesn't look or feel the same. Charlotte Flair, the most nauseating act in the entire company. There's nobody else on Monday Night Raw that I care about. The Women's Tag Team Championships are a complete fucking waste of time. Sasha Banks is off television. It's actually harming WWE week by week by week. They have no plans for Bayley whatsoever. Bianca Belair is not the same from when she was in NXT. Just like Rhea Ripley, they fucking call these women up and they make them feel unordinary. They make them feel fucking terrible. They make them feel formulaic and just like everybody else. It's so awful. It really is. To a point where I'm actually rooting against those that I was once cheering for. It's so bad. It really is so bad. Becky Lynch being back is not going to be that big of a deal. For the first 2-3 weeks, maybe, month. After that, WWE ratings are going to go right back to where they were. I doubt they really change at all. And then we'll be sitting here 2 months, 3 months after Becky Lynch is back on television, how WWE has marginalized her again and made her feel like everybody else, and WWE doesn't have any opponents for Becky Lynch, and they're ruining Becky Lynch creatively. We'll all be talking about the same shit over and over again. So good for her. She's making more money. She's back. Where's she going to go? She's going to be a WWE lifer. No question about it. Speaking of WWE lifers, Zelina Vega. She was with the company, with one of the hottest acts in the company. WWE let him down, let her down, ruined all of them. Then they fired her because she refused to give up her OnlyFans account and her Twitch channel. And now she may be back in the WWE once again. Zelina Vega was released from her WWE contract in November of 2020. She was spotted this week at the Performance Center, and there are plans to bring her back to the main roster. Several questions are raised from this situation. Vega was released after she fought WWE's third-party ban. She opened an OnlyFans account, continued on Twitch, and talked about unionization. I wonder how those discussions about unionization are going now with Zelina Vega potentially being back in the WWE. Does she still stand for unionization, or did she give up on that fucking pipe dream? I wonder. I really do. Following her release from WWE, she stayed on Twitch. She was also making more from Twitch than her WWE deal at the time. Now, Ringside News has asked around about Vega's return, and they can confirm that it is currently being discussed within the creative team. At this time, the plan is to bring her back to the main roster and not NXT. A lot of people were speculating, well, if she's at the Performance Center, she was filming something with The Rock's daughter, Simone Johnson. She may be on her way to NXT. That is not the case. They're bringing her right back to the main roster. Her in NXT does absolutely nothing for NXT, and it does nothing for Zelina Vega. You are not utilizing her to the best of her ability if you put her in NXT. NXT is out of the question, no doubt about it. It's either Raw or SmackDown, and I'll give you an idea of where I think she fits best. They're still figuring out the specifics right now. It is not confirmed which brand she will be on or how they will work her into a storyline or what type of storyline she will be in. There are a few options available for her. One on Monday Night Raw being just pair her back with Angel Garza and really go hard on Angel Garza. They could do that. Putting her in the women's division and having her be a competitor is not really what I would want as well. Those two things are definitely on the table. NXT is not on the table. The one thing that's on the table about Zelina Vega being back in the WWE would be to pair her with Aleister Black, her real-life husband. Put her on SmackDown. Make her a part of the Aleister Black character. Whether she's a mouthpiece, whether she's just there, it needs to happen. You need to make what we see on social media that everybody fucking knows already and make it a reality. The fact that Black is on SmackDown, WWE tends to keep married couples together on the same brand. That's why I'm very iffy about Becky going to Raw. Becky and Seth are both beloved. I doubt if WWE's going out on tour and the roster split is going to be a little bit more dominant and apparent, where they're going to be working on different shows and they're going to be doing different things and they're really going to be split from each other instead of working inside the same venue every single week like the Thunderdome. It makes me wonder where Becky Lynch is going. WWE tends to keep these married couples together. So Vega going to SmackDown just makes sense in that ideology of WWE keeping married couples together. Not only that, Black is great on his own. Black's a great promo. Black's got everything going for him if WWE gives him the ball and they have him run with it. But Zelina Vega the presence that she carried with the Andrade act, the presence that she carried with the Angel Garza act, even when Austin Theory was there. Her presence really matters. She's a great speaker. She's great on the microphone. When she speaks, you listen. She's very commanding. That's what we need her to do. She needs to be less an in-ring performer and more of a mouthpiece. There's more growth for her in being a mouthpiece. And Aleister Black has been off TV for over a year. He needs some momentum. He needs something for people to really gravitate to and really start talking about him. He might not need a mouthpiece or a manager to you, but her presence standing in his corner is going to complete that act, whereas WWE has never really explored giving Aleister Black that type of package. It needs to happen. I don't give a shit what else you do about Aleister Black. Adding that would be all that he needs. If you don't do it, you're actually doing him and her a disservice. There's no other role for her on WWE television. None. Commentator, a GM, all this other shit. No. A mouthpiece and a figure that stands in the corner of Black, making him a little bit more legit than he could possibly make himself. He needs that attention. He deserves that attention. And you want to keep him happy. You want to keep him happy. You don't think that he would love to work with his wife? Being that they're married and everybody knows that they're married, you don't think that he would want to work with his wife and somehow factor her into his world and what he's doing? You don't think she would want to come back, be happy, and work with her husband? I think it just makes sense to everybody. It really does. Now, Zelina Vega being back, is she a difference maker? With Black, yes. Zelina Vega is absolutely a difference maker with Black. If they don't go and pair her with Aleister Black, it's going to be a failed endeavor. She's not going to really do much of anything. It's going to be right back to where she was before she got fired. So she needs to have major priority and she needs to have meaning. That's what you should be booking. That's what you should be coming up with. How could we make Zelina Vega have meaning where she didn't have much because we took Andrade away from her, we took Garza away from her, she failed as an in-ring performer on her own, she had no sense of legitimacy on her own, she looked like everybody else, she felt like everybody else. How are you going to make a woman that needs to stand out? That has all the ability to stand out, how are we going to make her stand out? That's what should be on your list of things to do. Is she going to be a difference maker? To some, no. To some, no. Yes, if she's paired with Aleister Black. Do you care about Vega being back? Some may not care at all. Some may not think this is a big deal. But it is a big deal. Why is she back? Did WWE simply go out there and realize we were a little bit too harsh? Maybe they did sit down with Black and they discussed what is upsetting him. I want my wife back in the company. Let's do this thing, get her involved, bring her back. She was wrongfully terminated. She loves being here. She wants to be here. She's a team player. She cried emotionally on Twitch when she was let go. That was her dream. That was her dream. And WWE didn't even care. She didn't even get a final word with Vince McMahon. They just let her go. Get out of here. Goodbye. We wish you well on your future endeavors. Yeah, she was a culprit in why she was fired. She disobeyed the company. But WWE, that's not the first time that they've made rash decisions. She was used as an example. Maybe they feel bad about it. Maybe Black is on good terms with the company. Maybe the company's on good terms with Black. Maybe there was some discussion there to bring her back. Maybe Black, maybe he wants to leave. Nobody knows when his contract is up. Maybe he wants to leave, and one of the things that's going to keep him in the company is by WWE going out and getting Vega back. Who knows? Who knows? Is this going to be looked at as fans as a big deal? Probably not. Depends on how she's used. Why is she back? I don't want to speculate, but that's one of the reasons why she could be back. Maybe she realizes that there's nothing out there for her. She wants to be back in the company. She wants to make as much money as she can and be financially stable, and WWE is the only way to do that. Maybe Twitch is not paying out like she used to be being paid out on Twitch. Maybe she realized that Twitch is something that's just going to be a now thing, and it's not going to be a forever thing. It's not going to give her the stability to really be financially stable. Maybe she wants to be back in WWE because she sees her Twitch thing kind of fading away. It was hot in the beginning. Maybe she has struggles creatively to keep up with that. People lose interest in that type of thing, man. All content creators go through it. They're here with you one day and then they fucking hate you the next. They get bored of watching you play and they go watch somebody else who's a little bit more entertaining. They want to support you, but they're not interested anymore. So on, so forth, etc., etc. Who knows? One of the other reasons why WWE may be bringing her back is because maybe a little birdie got wind that she was talking to AEW. She'd fit right over on AEW side of things, too. All you got to do is pair her with Pentagon. All you got to do is pair her with Rey Fenix. That is a match made in fucking heaven, man. That would be beautiful if Tony Khan got Zelina Vega, a.k.a. Thea Trinidad, put her on TV and pair her with the Lucha Brothers. Andrade is talking to AEW right now, according to reports. We'll talk about that in a little bit as well. Andrade is talking to AEW. Who's to say Andrade doesn't end up in AEW? Tony Khan brings in Thea and pairs both of them back together and does that act better than WWE could have done that act on the main roster. These are all things that I'm absolutely sure are being discussed and have been a thought in people's minds. That's why she is back. Those are the reasons why she could potentially be back in the company. But if you're going to bring Zelina Vega back, you need to make her stand out. She's not good as a standalone performer. You pair her with Black or you don't bring her back at all. Otherwise, there's no reason. There's no reason. So Zelina Vega may be back in the WWE. Plans for her on the main roster don't include NXT, and Aleister Black and a pairing there with her real-life husband is internally being discussed. I will keep you guys posted on that when we get closer and closer to what is happening with her, and I really do, I hope it ends up well. It needs to. WWE needs to start booking creatively better. Start with that. It's so easy. It's simple. It makes sense. It's logical. It's right in your face. Do it. The simplest of things is that. AEW. I spoke about Vega going to AEW. That might not be happening. But a big name, and I mean a big name, a difference maker is what this name is being called. There's not many of them out there, folks. A difference maker is hesitant about going to AEW because of the infighting amongst EVPs. Now, if you guys do not know about this story, there is promotional fighting or inter-promotional fighting amongst the EVPs of AEW. That is Kenny Omega, that is Matt and Nick Jackson, and that is Cody Rhodes. They all own the title of executive vice presidents of AEW. There is apparently a lot of smoke to the rumors of heat between some of the EVPs in All Elite Wrestling. There have been rumblings on social media for over a year that some of the EVPs are no longer on speaking terms. Cody Rhodes, the Young Bucks, and Kenny Omega have distanced themselves from each other. During a recent discussion about the AEW product, Wade Keller of PW Torch and Jason Powell, who's also another well-known established name in the online wrestling website scene, confirmed that there are issues among some of the EVPs, and Jason Powell said that someone who would be a difference maker for AEW has been very hesitant about signing with them because this person has also heard those same rumors. Now, I'm going to read to you what Keller said, and I'm going to read to you what Jason Powell said. I'm going to leave it up to you guys to make your own conclusions. But I will say this. When you start mentioning big name, and then you start mentioning said big name with the title of difference maker, there's not many of them out there except two people in general, folks. two people who know what exactly they want when it comes to signing with someone, signing with a wrestling promotion, what they need to be done as far as creatively. There's only two people that come to mind. And one of them is the most recent name to hit the free agent scene, and you know who that is. Wade Keller says this, and I quote, "There's going to be a book written someday by some of these EVPs or someone else closely observing, and we're going to learn about a lot of this dysfunction. We're going to learn about what a very short honeymoon period there was between certain key people in the company who aren't even talking to each other anymore. I think we're going to find all of that out. I know there are people in other wrestling companies saying the Bucks and Cody and Kenny, it's not going to be long at all before they want to have nothing to do with each other. The honeymoon period is going to be short. It seems like it already is. It seems like there's some disengagement and people are going off into their own that is showing up in certain ways." That's what Wade Keller said. This is what Jason Powell says, and I quote, "If that is not happening, they need to clear up that misconception. I do think it's happening. There's a would-be difference maker who would go there that has the opinion that there's all this infighting, intercompany fighting, and this person, for that reason, is very hesitant to go there." End quote. Jason Powell did not say who this person is, but there are a couple of ex-WWE names right now available that could easily sign with the WWE. Why is there interpromotional or inner circle, quote unquote, fighting between the elite? Let's get this out there right now. Is there something as far as a fuel to the fire of this? I don't know. All I know is what these guys are saying. This is the first I am hearing about this story. We briefly touched upon it on the AEW podcast, Jesse and I, and we talked about Cody Rhodes not being kind of in that inner circle with the elite. It was Cody, the way it was presented on Wednesday when I read the first article about this was Cody was not talking to the rest of the guys. And I don't know what reason that could be. We speculated that it could be because Cody Rhodes is not really in a position like the other guys are in. Maybe it has something to do with Brandy. Maybe she's kind of separated Cody from them, and Brandy's separating Cody from the elite, and she's a difference maker there or a factor in them not talking to each other. Who knows? Who knows what the situation is? Jesse made a good point on Wednesday night when we talked about it, saying that if there is a story going around like this, the Young Bucks on being the elite, or the elite in general, Kenny Omega included, they would all be playing this up on social media. They'd be playing it up on being the elite, and they'd be poking fun at it. They'd be poking fun at it. If it wasn't as serious as these guys are saying, it would be in the show, and they would be the first person to shit and rag all over it, make skits out of it, sell merchandise about it. Because where there is heat like this, that's where the Bucks and Kenny are really as smart as anybody. They love to make money off what the marks are making into a big deal. But as far as this story, I don't think it's been played up on being the elite. I don't think it's really been said outside of this report. I don't know how much fuel to the fire this story is gaining. I don't know. But as far as the difference maker goes, I want to start off with this one. Number one, Samoa Joe. Is Samoa Joe a big difference maker for AEW? I want to say yes and I want to say no, but he's not the biggest difference maker. Will Samoa Joe make a difference in AEW? You better fucking believe he will. Samoa Joe's one of the most legit pro wrestlers in the world. He was never given a fair shot in WWE for whatever reason. Maybe it was his appearance. Maybe it was the fact that WWE did not want to push him because he wasn't a part of the Anoa'i family, though he's got the Samoan background. Maybe WWE just looked at him and said, you know what, he's too injury prone. Concussion here, concussion there, injury here, injury there. Maybe WWE wanted to give Samoa Joe the ball, but they realized that if they did, they're risking injury. So I don't know the reason there, but Samoa Joe is absolutely a difference maker on a smaller scale to everybody. Would he care about going to AEW if there was intercompany or inner circle fighting between the elite? I don't know. I don't really know. Would that bother him? I don't know. All I know is Samoa Joe is definitely going to be seeking work. All I know is, and we know Joe thinks the same way about him, Joe needs to be on a bigger stage. Joe wants to be on a bigger stage. Joe deserves to be on a bigger stage. Is he showing up at Slammiversary? I don't know. If you go and watch Impact and you see the Slammiversary graphic, they show you Chelsea Green, they show you Samoa Joe. They briefly tease that Slammiversary could be the return of some old TNA Impact names. That's what they do. That's what they do to generate interest. That's what they do to generate hype. They've done that before time and time again. That's what they do. I don't think Joe is going to Impact. I don't think Samoa Joe ending up in Impact is really a marriage that makes sense. Who's going to benefit from that most? Impact? Samoa Joe's not going to benefit from that. Samoa Joe needs to go somewhere where he's going to make an immediate impact and he's going to be on a bigger stage because he knows he's running out of time. How many more years legitimately does Samoa Joe have in pro wrestling? So go to AEW, make a difference. That's the type of guy that Tony Khan should be putting money aside for when they're a free agent. That's the type of money you throw at somebody like Samoa Joe. Is he a difference maker? Yes, but not on the scale that I'm thinking of. What about Daniel Bryan? Is Daniel Bryan contemplating going to AEW? Daniel Bryan is one of the more genuine human beings humanly possible. Daniel Bryan doesn't want any internal backstage rift. He doesn't. He's been through that, I'm sure, with WWE. Working there, he knows what type of environment that is. Daniel Bryan, he's still as active as anybody. He's still, as of a couple of weeks ago, was on SmackDown wrestling Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship. He was in the main event of WrestleMania. So if he's comfortable doing that, he's a little bit more comfortable than most, jumping from that, going into that in AEW, if the rumors are true. Daniel Bryan may be hesitant joining AEW. He knows these guys. It's not like he's strangers to these people. He knows the Bucks. He knows Omega. He knows these guys. So is it something where he says, you know what? I want to join you guys. I'm interested in talking, but if this is what's going on backstage, I might not want to be a part of that because I just came from that. And now I'm looking at this and I'm talking to Tony and I'm hearing this. I'm not sure I really want to be a part of that. I want to end my career and do things my way, but I can't really do that if you got all four of these guys arguing amongst each other and there's internal conflict and heat backstage. Daniel Bryan could be one of those guys. The other guy is obvious. I don't really need to mention him. You guys know who I'm talking about. CM Punk. CM Punk is somebody that has sat out and rested on his laurels for the last 8 years. If there's anybody that is a difference maker in AEW or could be a difference maker for AEW, it is absolutely CM Punk. These are the only three names that could be a big name and could be labeled a difference maker. Whoever Jason Powell is talking about, it's one of those three names. More than likely, it's CM Punk. CM Punk knows what he wants. CM Punk has dealt more than anybody, more than Bryan and more than Joe, with the internal workings and the conflict and the drama and all the heat and all the bullshit, all the internal fucking politics, all the propaganda that comes with being inside a pro wrestling company. CM Punk, out of all these people, is so in sync with how people and characters and personalities in the pro wrestling world work. It's a reason why he stayed away for as long as he had. And if he's hearing about this, and you know every single time there's a major surprise or someone's coming into AEW, how many times, it doesn't even have to be AEW, it could be any promotion. They got a big name coming in, right? Everybody always mentions CM Punk. Every single time. If he hears about this, he's obviously still up to date on everything. He's still up to date on everything. People ask him questions about the current AEW product. People ask him questions about the current WWE product, who he would love to face. He's not shy about revealing anything. He mentioned Omega. He mentions Will Ospreay. He talks about what WWE needs to do and what they need to focus on. He's not shy to reveal how he really feels about things. People mention pro wrestling to him every single day the guy opens his fucking eyes. He knows, and here's the rumors about him joining AEW or going back to WWE. And he's openly said, listen, I would be open to hearing offers. All I ask for you is to come at me with something original, something fun, creative, and talk to me like a human being. Let's discuss that. Let's discuss money. Show me you want me. I think with him saying that, a lot of people get turned off and automatically just by the way he acts. They don't think that he's serious. But if he says that, why would you look at him and think otherwise? The guy's been away for 8 fucking years. He stood tall on his hill for 8 years, and he hasn't looked back. If the guy tells you something, he's gonna mean it. So when he thinks about this rumor, and it really is him, and it may be him, if he hears this, why would he want to join a pro wrestling company when he dealt with that in WWE? I don't really understand why there's internal arguing and heat between the elite. Only one thing comes to mind. I mentioned this with Jesse. Cody Rhodes. Who's upset at who? We don't know. Cody Rhodes has taken a backseat to everything. Cody Rhodes should have taken a backseat to everything. His wife is pregnant. His wife is giving birth. This is the biggest moment in her life, okay? He needs to be there. Pro wrestling should be a side dish for Cody Rhodes. And the closer we get to her having this baby, he's going to be off TV and should be. I think people right now are developing this perception of Cody Rhodes as being AEW's version of Triple H. That's not really where you want to be as far as Cody Rhodes is concerned. Cody Rhodes, we've criticized Cody Rhodes. Listen, we are fans of Cody Rhodes. We've criticized Cody Rhodes time and time and time again. He puts himself in situations where he doesn't really need to be. It almost feels like he's on TV because he wants to be on TV no matter how good or bad it is. He just wants to be on TV in a match, in a storyline, when it doesn't even make sense or have meaning. We've looked at him as being a part of something when it's important. I haven't gotten that feeling about Cody Rhodes since he's lost the TNT Championship to, God rest his soul, Brody Lee. And they had the dog collar match. That was the last time he was in anything remotely important. Ever since then, he's been a lost soul. And he always shows up on TV and puts himself in something and makes himself seem like the biggest deal on TV when we know he's not. It comes off as cringe. It turns people off. And that's what his promo, his American Dream promo on Wednesday night did to fans and people who watch Dynamite. The Elite, they're tag team champions. Kenny Omega, he's the AEW World Champion, and he's the Impact World Champion, and he's the AAA World Champion. Now, I don't know what it is. It could be jealousy amongst them, Cody looking at them and him not achieving the same success. They all want to achieve the same success at the same time. But we said this, and I'm going to say it again. Not everybody could be on top at the same time. There's a perception to that where people look at that and they will think things that you don't want them to start saying or thinking. If Cody Rhodes was the TNT champion and the Bucks were tag team champions and Kenny Omega was the AEW champion, the Impact champion, the AAA champion, don't you think from an outsider's perspective, even a hardcore fan of these guys, don't you think even the hardcore AEW fans will look at this and say, they created their own promotion to make themselves fucking King Booker. Give themselves all the championships and make themselves out to be something that normally they wouldn't be. They're their own boss and they're pretty much abusing the system. You don't want that perception. You really don't. So it could be that. What I think it is, and what I really do think it is, the fact that Cody and the Bucks and Omega. You don't really see Paige doing anything. He's just by himself. I don't know if he's intertwined with this whatsoever, but Omega, the Bucks, and Cody, they were the ones that were brought in by Tony Khan, built the entire company from the ground up around these guys. It's the same thing that everybody goes through when they get some level of success. Cody's a bigger name than he's ever been in his entire career because of AEW. The Young Bucks are bigger names now than ever before because of AEW. Kenny Omega is a bigger name now in AEW than he's ever been before in his entire career. They're on TNT. They got a major TV deal. They're in the mainstream. They're on ESPN. They're doing this. They get picked up by all these publications. They are a desirable brand. They're number one in the demos for Blood and Guts. They beat NXT single-handedly almost every single week outside of maybe 5 or 6 different weeks. Handed WWE and NXT their ass on Wednesday night. Don't you think all of that and all the social media press and all the attention and the demos and the ratings and the sponsors and the TV deals and Tony Khan hyping them up, being backed by a multi-billionaire that is 7 times more richer than Vince McMahon, don't you think eventually this gets to all of their heads to a point where they look at themselves and they think that they're the shit? And if you talk bad about them, they're going to look at you as if you're a fucking peon. They are so high up on their thrones because of what they have been given with the AEW platform. And it's greed, it's selfishness, it's this pompous attitude that comes with the territory. They think that they are the best at what they do, that they are the number one brand. You could feel that way. You got to act it, though. You can't go out there and act like that and then expect people to take that attitude and behavior and accept it and still be on the same page as you. You can't do it. So all of that, you got 4 combustible elements there mixed with the creative process. This is what happens when you give the creative process to the hands of the performers. This is where Tony Khan needs to step in and really put his foot down and be a fucking boss. Every single decision should be handled by Tony Khan. It's all right to hear a view from Cody and a view from the Bucks and a view from Omega, but you can't really give them the reins and the keys to the kingdom to do what they want. Otherwise, you're gonna have Cody doing what he wants to do. It's not gonna be approved by the Bucks. You're gonna have the Bucks doing what they want. It's not gonna be approved by Cody. It might not be approved by Kenny. Not be approved by Paige. It's a lot of internal struggle here because they're all doing their own thing. They all want to be better than each other. They're all going to book themselves in certain ways. At the end of it all, you're not going to be looking at 4 guys here that have taken a brand and really made a true alternative to WWE. You're going to have 4 guys who are going to fucking kill the true alternative to WWE, and all we're going to be left with is WWE. Nobody wants that. The Bucks, Cody, Kenny, that's my perception of it. I think they need to come down off their fucking throne, their imaginary throne, and be humble and be appreciative of what Tony Khan has been willing to spend his own money on to build around them. He's your boss. Don't get a big head because he threw money at you and has given you a couple of championships and is booking you in the bigger storylines in pro wrestling compared to what WWE is doing. You're still number 2. You're still fighting every single week for a new audience that right now you're not gaining. You may be happy with what you're doing, but you're far from perfect. And why ruin a friendship over it? Why ruin a bond over it? This bond was strong enough to get this company created. It's going to be that strong to fucking kill it as well. You don't want that to happen. So if you guys want to get on the same page and you really want to make a fucking difference, then you need to start doing that. That type of attitude is going to put that type of energy out there where the likes of a CM Punk is not going to want to come in. And you all know how big of a difference maker he is. That type of energy is going to be put out there in the universe, and it's going to deter a Daniel Bryan from coming to AEW or anybody like a Daniel Bryan. You don't want this to happen. You want to create an environment that they can walk into and say, you know what? This is not WWE. I'm happy to be here. If you're going to go out there and create an environment that they are used to from their old employer that they were around for years in your company, nobody's going to want to join you. They need to get on the same page. Otherwise, in about 10 to 15 years, Dark Side of the Ring, if they're still around, we're going to be seeing Dark Side of the Ring, the death of all elite wrestling. All right, guys, we are heading into the second half of the podcast. Once again, I want to thank everybody for joining me here on episode 376 of Off the Script. If you guys are listening on YouTube, I thank you. If you guys are listening on Spotify, iTunes, Podbean, you name it, any other audio platforms, I appreciate it. While you're at it, if you're on iTunes, leave me a 5-star rating, leave me a comment, let me know what you think of the show and what you think of Off the Script. Today's show, once again, sponsored by my boys over at Advanced GG, man. Advanced GG is what gets me through those terrible Monday Night Raws. Advanced GG has their focus line. This is actually their energy line. I prefer their focus line, but if you guys are looking for a little dash of energy, a little spurt of energy during your day, this will get you through it, man. This one here is Strawberry Shortcake. Hydration, reaction, energy, and endurance. Those are the things that are going to benefit you by drinking Advanced GG, man. 100% all-natural caffeine from green tea, sugar-free. It is unbelievable, man. If you guys are gaming, if you guys like to stream on Twitch, stream on YouTube, if you guys like to work out, if you guys go to work and do the rigorous 9 to 5 and you're stressed out about work and you're finding yourself to just be dragging during the day, Advanced GG has got you covered, man. The #1 all-natural and organic esports supplement, man. This is great stuff developed by scientists, and I can't speak any highly about it, man. Advanced.gg is the place. You guys are going to go to the website and use code SCRIPT at checkout to save 10% off everything. So make sure you guys go out there and support them as they support me right here on Off the Script. Let's get into the weekly breakdown of SmackDown, Raw, NXT, and AEW. Friday Night SmackDown. We had a decent show last night, but again, I say it every single week, man. Without Roman Reigns, without the Usos, without the Tribal Chief, without Paul Heyman, SmackDown would be just as bad as Monday Night Raw. It is so appalling that Roman Reigns is by far and away the biggest act, not only in the WWE, but he may be the biggest act in all of pro wrestling. And he is absolutely carrying that brand. It is so sad to see. And it's amazing. You know, Roman Reigns, he's kind of fallen. The booking of Roman Reigns has fallen off just a little bit. Just a little bit. They go back to the tried and true formula of throwing a Jey Uso out there as he takes care of Roman's business before Roman gets to the pay-per-view and he defends the title against whoever they got him defending the title against. Now they got Jimmy doing the same thing with Jimmy Uso being back. But it's still the best shit on WWE television. And it's amazing how you look at what Paul Heyman is doing with Roman Reigns and you compare that storyline to what WWE is doing with everything else on Raw and on SmackDown and how much better Paul Heyman is at his job than 40 other guys, including Bruce Pritchard. It's amazing. Can you imagine WWE creative writing for Roman Reigns? Can you imagine anybody but Paul Heyman? It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. But the ratings for SmackDown are in. They dropped below 2 million. It definitely felt like it. It definitely felt like it. The episode drew an average of 1.8 million viewers, which is down from last Friday's throwback episode of 2.157 million viewers on Fox. There's no word yet on the hourly viewership. The show did 2.147 million viewers in hour one and 2.166 million viewers in hour two. That is as of a week ago. The throwback edition of SmackDown attracted the casual fan, the lapsed fan, who is out there wanting to see what WWE would do for a throwback episode. Was there a fist? No. All they did was give you the same boring matches that we see every single week. Old school vignettes, Ico Pro, something by Lord Alfred Hayes. They had the referees dressed in the old SmackDown referee uniforms. They had Pat McAfee dressed up in a old school suit like Vince McMahon. Michael Cole wore his own old SmackDown jean button down. They didn't really do much as far as the throwback episode. It was a disappointment. But I'm over here expecting WWE to do the same shit that they always do, disappoint people. A lot of people were like, why didn't they do more? Why didn't they do more? So it worked. It worked on some of the casual geeks out there to watch SmackDown. Then those fans realized this isn't really a throwback show. Fuck this show. They got so disheartened with the show, they didn't watch the next week. So the throwback episode worked for its week, and obviously its effect afterwards had no effect. Just another gimmick show in the pipeline of gimmick shows that do nothing and really are failure. It's exactly what they are. If you're not going to put your all into it, then why bother? It was merely a Fox initiative. The only reason why they did a throwback episode anyway was because NASCAR had a throwback event that weekend, and Fox wanted the SmackDown show to bleed in throwback to the throwback NASCAR event. It's awful, man. Absolutely awful. It also pulled in an average of a 0.4 rating in the 18 to 49 demographic. That is number 4 for the night. That is down from the 0.6 rating the show did in the 18 to 49 demographic last week. That's pretty fucking bad, man. AEW, I think Dynamite, did more last week than SmackDown did this week in the 18 to 49 demographic. Of course, AEW this week was not even that close, or not even that far off, I should say, to SmackDown. So they got some fucking problems, man. I said this on the live stream. They have a major problem where nothing on the show feels new or fresh. It's the same people every single week. Every single week. It's like they're not even using 70 to 75% of their roster. It's mind-boggling to me. So what happened on the show? Why was it so bad last night? We had... Actually, where am I with this? Cesaro, he is continuing his feud with Roman Reigns. We got that continuing on. He wrestled Jimmy Uso. I was going to say Jey Uso. What's the fucking difference? We got Jimmy Uso now wrestling and doing Roman Reigns battles. So that was the main event of the show. Not really any interest there. They haven't really put much interest in Cesaro and Roman Reigns. The only reason why they're building around that is because A, the fans want it, and B, WWE expects the fans to eat up a great match, and that's all they give a shit about. So Cesaro versus Jimmy Uso went to a disqualification when Roman Reigns interfered. Roman Reigns interfered and pretty much ended that in the main event. Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler, they lost the tag team championships to Tamina Snuka and Natalya. Tamina and Natalya are the new women's tag team champions. Nobody really cares. I guess Tamina is in line for congratulations, as this was her first WWE championship ever. Rey Mysterio defeated Dolph Ziggler right before their tag team title match on Sunday's Backlash show. And Baron Corbin beat Shinsuke Nakamura in a 3-minute match where they heavily teased the return of the King of the Ring. I would hope so. I would really hope so. And we talked about that on the podcast last night. The King of the Ring needs to be brought back, and if it is, how it should be done. I go over 3 simple ways WWE could really make an effective King of the Ring tournament. But seems like I'm living in a pipe dream on all 3 of my ideas. But if WWE brings it back, I guess it's better than nothing. SmackDown was not good at all last night. NXT from Tuesday, their viewership and key demo was down, as usual. NXT drew 697,000 live viewers, which was down from the previous week of 761,000 1,000 live viewers. In the 18 to 49 demographic, the show did a 0.17. That's down from last week's 0.18. The show did number 25 on the top 150 shows on cable. 18 to 49, 0.17. Female viewers, 18 to 49, 0.11. Male viewers, 18 to 49, 0.22. And the 50 plus, the old geezers watching NXT, a whopping 0.38. So the majority of their rating is coming from everybody 50 plus, man. There is nothing on this show that is attracting a younger audience. That is fucking scary. There is nothing on this show attracting a younger audience. They have no major names that are going to go out there and catch the people's eye. Finn Balor has done nothing on NXT. It's about time they start utilizing him and maybe potentially putting him in a feud with Roman Reigns. I even booked last night, you can move him to Friday and feud him with Roman Reigns going into SummerSlam. You could put him on Monday Night Raw and take what Triple H has revitalized around the Finn Balor character, take that from NXT and put it on Monday Night Raw, build Raw around him, promote Adam Cole, move Edge over there, get AJ Styles back in the main event. That's what Monday Night Raw needs. You got two ideas for Finn Balor. He's not doing shit on NXT. He's got a match with Karrion Kross in 2 weeks, which he's inevitably going to lose. What happens after that? Where does Finn Balor go after that? It's best if you move him to the main roster. They got nobody there. Johnny Gargano is fucking incredible, but nobody's watching NXT for Johnny Gargano. There's no big heel character on that show that really is transcending the main event scene. Kross is great, but I don't know whether he's an in-betweener, a heel, or a babyface. I don't know. There's not one single babyface that people could really latch onto on that show. But Kross is the champion. The problem is there's no legitimate opponents for him. There's no legitimate opponents for Karrion Kross. You develop a lot of problems because every single person on that roster is going to be looked at as small. Every single babyface on that roster is going to look like a loser. You can't do that. Guys like Kross only, have a shelf life for a very short time. And in NXT land, you put a giant like that in the land of babyfaces that I don't think there's ever been a babyface, in recent memory anyway, that really would even mean anything to Karrion Kross and his heel run. The only one that would be legit is another heel, and that's Walter for the NXT Championship. It's the only thing that WWE is going for, and I doubt they even do it. Who knows if Walter wants to be here as NXT Champion? He's overseas. So I don't know what's going on there, but NXT they are in their own fucking shithole. They got more problems than I care to really talk about here. But the rating proves it. And my live streams prove it. My live streams do not get over 800 viewers on a Tuesday night. What does that say about people's interest in NXT? And I have outwardly spoken about how it doesn't feel the same. Either I and what I do has that type of effect, or people are feeling the same fucking way that I do. They don't even need to listen to me. People aren't watching the show. NXT has fallen ever since they were moved from the WWE Network, ever since Morrow left and put on USA Network, and now we're headed by Vic Joseph. It's not the same anymore. It probably will never be the same. Ever. Sucks. That's why I have a little bit of hope in this fucking new NXT show that we might have coming, which I hope is on the WWE Network. Because if it's anything like the old NXT, I'm on board. And so will everybody else. Because that's exactly what they want. NXT from Tuesday, Raquel Gonzalez defeated Mercedes Martinez for the NXT Women's Championship. Kushida defeated Santos Escobar. That was the main event. Cruiserweight Championship, 2 out of 3 falls. Karrion Kross squashed Austin Theory. Pete Dunne beat Leon Ruff. Kyle O'Reilly defeated Oney Lorcan. And MSK defeated Breezango. What a show, man. What a show. Nothing exciting at all. Love some of the performers, but the interest in there, not really there for me. Possible explanation. I mentioned the new NXT show. Possible explanation for NXT's Diamond Mine. A lot of people, when they seen these vignettes, immediately put diamonds with Tessa Blanchard coming to NXT. That's not the case at all. We don't know where that woman is going to end up. We don't know where. But it was noted by PW Insider that Diamond Mine and the idea around it could be a vignette for NXT's second show. Now, they've talked about doing a television show, a second television show, something with the Evolve brand, but totally different. A pilot for the show has already been filmed. It was explained that the Diamond Mine could be an offshoot brand, much like the one we've been hearing about and that they've been working on. Diamond Mine is more likely some sort of offshoot brand or concept to introduce new talents. We know that they've been trying to develop a new brand for the NXT division. This could be it. Now, WWE hasn't made any official announcement regarding a second NXT show yet. Diamond Mine could very well be the name of that brand, since the NXT roster is getting so full that they are and were talking to MLW about sending some of their stars over there to gain some in-ring experience and some television time. Get them some television time. But I, as of last week, read that the MLW partnership is no longer there, that it fell through the cracks. So I don't know what happened there. I don't know which side didn't want to work with what side, but apparently it's not a thing anymore. So NXT, they purchased Evolve. They are looking to get their performance center and all the talents that may be ready some TV time. So a second NXT show is certainly coming. It's going to be centered around Evolve, and it's going to have its own dedicated commentary team. It's going to have its own dedicated championships. It's going to be, and I hope, what old NXT was to us when it was on the WWE Network for an hour. Now, I don't really want another hour of television, but if it resembles anything close to that, I'm going to check it out and I'm going to be on board. And I guarantee you that is going to generate more interest than the actual product. Because the actual product, the NXT product on Tuesday night, is now Monday Night Raw for NXT. That's exactly what it is. So if they do this and Diamond Mine is their own show on the WWE Network at 1 hour, that's going to fill the void that what NXT was when they were taken off the network and put on USA. I can't wait to see what happens here. I'm very excited about this. So hopefully it delivers. What I'm not excited about is WWE splitting up Raquel Gonzalez and Dakota Kai. On this week's episode, Raquel Gonzalez defended her NXT Women's Championship successfully against Mercedes Martinez. She was in the ring with Martinez. Not all that great, but it was passable to a point. There was some miscommunication there. Raquel certainly showing she's still very green in the ring, but I could see why WWE wanted to strap the rocket pack to her. After the match concluded, Martinez could be seen getting checked up backstage. Gonzalez then came out and approached Martinez and said, "Respect." Dakota Kai saw this and was kind of turned off by it. She was kind of turned off by what she saw. Kai was so upset that she stormed out of the backstage area as Martinez looked on. WWE on Twitter also noted that an eventual split could be coming by showing this backstage segment. They also added fuel to this fire. So they put it on their social media page because clearly this is where we're going into the next TakeOver show. Now, TakeOver has been announced as In Your House in June. So this could be legitimately the title match for Dakota Kai at In Your House against her own friend, or ex-friend, I should say at that point, Raquel Gonzalez. So Kai and Gonzalez have been paired together since NXT TakeOver Portland in February of 2020. That was a damn good fucking show, where Gonzalez made her NXT debut and helped Kai beat Tegan Nox in a street fight, which was also a damn good match. We have to wait and see if WWE will truly split up Dakota and Raquel Gonzalez on NXT TV. I think it's coming. To be perfectly honest with you, I mean, if you look up and down the roster on NXT in that women's division, who really is the next in line for a women's championship match? They don't have anybody. Io's been off TV. I doubt they do a rematch with Raquel Gonzalez and Io Shirai. It's too predictable. Io's all but done. She's about to get demoted to the main roster. Toni Storm has been on a losing streak. We got Zoe Stark, who WWE seems to be shoving down our throats. She's winning matches left and right against people that I don't think she should be winning matches against. She's not ready for a title shot. There's no way she's winning the NXT Women's Championship right now. Saray, she just debuted. She's not being put into that title picture just yet. Who else do we have? Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart are the tag team, or were the tag team champions. They lost those tag team championships to the Way. I guess one of them could go after it, but I don't really find any interest in either Shotzi or Ember going after Raquel Gonzalez right now. That deserves to be built up a little bit better than just throwing them into a feud with nothing behind it. The only thing that matters right now and the only thing that makes sense is what WWE has done here 5 weeks out of the pay-per-view with Dakota Kai. And I even have my reservations about Dakota Kai getting this match because A, is it going to be enough time to build up a split between one of the most solid acts on the brand? Number two, Dakota Kai deserves better. She really does. She's been given an opportunity and had it taken away from her every single time. It's almost as if WWE wants to shove her into the spotlight, but they get cold feet every time they do so. Now, I don't know what this means for Dakota Kai. If she loses this match, which more than likely she will, what does that mean for her on the main roster? She breaks up from Raquel Gonzalez. Does she get moved up to the main roster? I don't know. It's a very sticky situation here. You're leaving yourself only 4 weeks to build a split between the most solid act in that women's division, one of the most solid acts in the brand. So what are you going to do? It's going to feel rushed. Is Dakota Kai somebody that you're going to build a shot around against Raquel Gonzalez? I doubt it. I don't see Raquel losing that championship anytime soon. Just doesn't make sense. It's almost as if they are adopting ideas from Monday Night Raw. If this was the NXT of old, you would have had an opponent for Raquel Gonzalez 3 months ago. And you would already know. You would have had multiple possible opponents for Raquel Gonzalez 3 months ago. Right now, I'm only looking at one. Right now, I'm only looking at one, and we're 4 weeks out. Is it enough time? The answer is no. Is it enough time for me to care? The answer is no. Should be a good match. If anybody could bring Raquel to a good match, Io did it. I'm certainly sure that Dakota Kai could do it. She's great. But I don't think that's going to leave enough room for people to care. That's the problem. AEW Dynamite. 5/12/21 viewership. Key demo down from last week's Blood and Guts edition. Dynamite drew 936,000 views, which was down from the 1.090 million viewers the show did the previous week for Blood and Guts. This is according to PW Torch. In the 18 to 49 demographic, the show did a 0.31, which was down from a 0.42. So the 18 to 49 demographic for Blood and Guts was better than what SmackDown did this week on Fox. Go figure. Dynamite, they were still trending upwards in the rankings as well. They were definitely in the top 5. The show featured Jon Moxley versus Yuji Nagata for the IWGP United States Championship. Jon Moxley is still the IWGP United States Champion. We got Yuji Nagata coming over from New Japan. Fun match between these two. Cody Rhodes cut his American Dream promo. He challenges Anthony Ogogo at Double or Nothing. I have my reservations about that as well. AEW better know something about Ogogo that we don't fucking know. In fact, he's wrestling Austin Gunn on Wednesday night. I'm going to keep a very close eye on that match to see if Ogogo deserves this match against Cody Rhodes. Now, some people said Cody's promo was cringe. Listen, Cody makes things feel important when he uses his words. His words are his ultimate weapon. But do I agree with this match? Right now, fuck no. I do not. We'll wait and see what happens on Wednesday. But Anthony Ogogo versus Cody Rhodes, I'm going to throw this out there, folks, doesn't sound like a double or nothing match. To a point where I know some people in the industry that I'm very cool with who told me that they're not going to Double or Nothing because the card feels weak. I find it very difficult to disagree with them when I see matches like this. We'll see what happens on Wednesday night. Anthony Ogogo is going to have a fucking microscope the size of fucking planet Earth on top of him on Wednesday night. The Young Bucks beat SCU. SCU has disbanded as a tag team. Bucks retain the AEW Tag Team Championships. Orange Cassidy versus Pac, number one contenders match, went to a double countout when Kenny Omega thought he was doing something slick. Tony Khan made a triple threat match at Double or Nothing. Now Omega will defend against Orange Cassidy and Pac in a triple threat for the AEW Championship. Orange Cassidy was legitimately knocked out in the match. They had to call an audible, which is why it came off a little bit weird on Wednesday night. And the original plan had both Pac and Orange Cassidy going to a 20-minute draw, then getting the triple threat match. But they got the triple threat match by doing an audible, having Omega come out and attack Pac with the championship. Both men were down. Aubrey counted to 10. Double count out. Triple threat match. Double or Nothing. We had the Pinnacle Coronation. Stadium Stampede 2 was unofficially announced. And the Inner Circle sprayed the Pinnacle from a golf cart with a hose that contains a little bit of the bubbly. So this was a obvious take off the Austin beer truck Vince McMahon Rock situation right before Rock and Austin wrestled for the WWF Championship at WrestleMania in Philadelphia. There's nothing like a homage to the old school, but, you know, it is what it is, man. I appreciate the effort, but I'm not really all that keen on seeing a Stadium Stampede match either. And by the way, Chris Jericho reportedly is injured from his fall off the Blood and Guts War Games cage. He's got a fractured elbow. He came out wearing a massive arm brace. Jericho's not hurt. I highly doubt he's hurt at all. I think he's just playing up the marks because everybody shit on the fall because he fell onto Serta Perfect sleeper mattresses, pillows, and a fucking cushy blanket after the fall and him going through the stage that was mocked up in cardboard to look like stainless steel. So he wore a big-ass brace on his elbow to play up to the fucking marks. Hey, look at me. Look at me. I'm really hurt. Meanwhile, all you guys are complaining that I fell onto fucking pillows in a bed. Give me a break. Jericho, that's exactly what Jericho would do. I do not believe he's injured whatsoever. At all. Thunder Rosa defeated Jasmine Allure in a squash match, and Miro is the new face of TNT as he defeats Darby Allin for the TNT Championship. It looks like we're getting Miro versus Lance Archer at Double or Nothing for the TNT Championship. Rumors are already circulating that Miro will win the match because Jake ends up turning on Lance Archer. I'm all for it, man. I really am all for it. Darby Allin and Sting looks like they'll be taking on Mr. Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page at the pay-per-view. Sting can't have a match one-on-one. It's safer if they put him in a tag team match. And you want to feature him on your biggest show of the year. So there you go. It's a great way to get Sting on the pay-per-view as well. Dynamite was very good this week, but they did not hit that 1 million viewership for the first time since they've been unopposed on Wednesday night. Andrade is already talking to AEW, which I'm not surprised by at all. And Andrade is scheduled to challenge Kenny Omega for the AAA Championship at Triple Mania in August. So it would make sense for Andrade to be on Dynamite. So that's why AEW and Andrade have been in discussion. He's had talks with AEW. At this point, there's no word on where the two parties stand. So that is going to be very interesting, man. And going into August, WWE, they let Andrade go without really utilizing him to his full potential. Now he's out there. He's a free agent. He's got no contract clause, right? He's got no non-compete clause. So he could show up on Dynamite in August. He could be with the AEW roster. They'll be having their biggest show of the year, or the second biggest show of the year, one of their biggest shows of the year, All Out, happening in August, right? Or the first week of September. Andrade could be a part of that show as well. We could be looking at a summer program between Andrade and Kenny Omega on Dynamite. Sign me up. Take my money. But I am not surprised at all that he's talking to AEW. I am surprised it took this long for that to be reported. So I hope he does go there. I think he'd do very well there. I really do. Monday Night Raw. Monday Night Raw ratings were, as usual. Showbuzz Daily is reporting that the show drew an average of 1.817 million viewers on the USA Network. It's pretty much the same rating as last week. It was down, actually. Not going to give them any benefit of the doubt or any credit. Last week, they did 1.872. So this was the go-home edition of Sunday's Backlash pay-per-view. The 18 to 49 demo saw Hour 1 at a 0.55, Hour 2 did a 0.54, and Hour 3 did a 0.51. The hourly breakdown for the hours, ratings-wise, 1.9, 1.8, and 1.7. So that's that. Monday Night Raw, as usual. Charlotte Flair, Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler defeated Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke, and I believe, who else was on the team? Asuka. Yeah, Asuka was on the team as well. Who gives a shit? 6-woman tag that was mired by fucking Alexa Bliss. Alexa Bliss seems to be the biggest priority in the women's division, and she completely halted this match, middle of the match. While all of them stood there watching her swing back and forth on the stage, then after the match, all 6 of the women in this match stared at Alexa Bliss as Alexa Bliss is targeting one of these 6 women. It's amazing, man. WWE can't come up with a fucking storyline for any of these women, yet all these women now have to revolve around Alexa Bliss. Lazy, careless writing. Randy Orton and Matt Riddle with the New Day defeated Jackson Ryker Elias, AJ Styles, and Omos. Jinder Mahal. He defeated Jeff Hardy. He's back. Get ready for him to be in the WWE title picture. Sheamus defeated Humberto Carrillo. This ended up being a referee discretional call. Humberto, he did a sunset flip bomb off the apron that was terribly botched. Sheamus landed directly on top of him, crushing his midsection and knee at the same time. His head might have hit the mat on the way down as well. Completely misfired on the sunset flip bomb to the outside. Sheamus was declared the winner because nobody really expected Sheamus to lose this match, so I guess they just went with the original outcome and the planned outcome, so they gave Sheamus the victory here, even though it ended up being a no contest because the referee stopped the match. But I got news on Humberto in a second. Shelton Benjamin defeated Cedric Alexander in a match that showed everybody who Vince McMahon hates less. So Shelton Benjamin is a little bit more liked than Cedric Alexander. Rhea Cringely defeated Asuka. Nice way to bury Asuka before the pay-per-view. Asuka, she stands no chance winning that title at Backlash. None. Charlotte is the new women's champion as far as I'm concerned. Damian Priest defeated John Morrison. He's got The Miz at Backlash in a lumberjack match. The dreaded lumberjack match, man. I fucking hate it. Bobby Lashley defeated Drew McIntyre via DQ by Braun Strowman interfering. I think Drew McIntyre wins back the WWE Championship at Backlash. What a fucking terrible main event, man. I made mention of this on the Monday Night Raw live stream. Why would you book Drew McIntyre versus Bobby Lashley in your main event, knowing that McIntyre can't lose before the pay-per-view? Bobby Lashley is the WWE champion. He can't lose on television right before the pay-per-view and him defending the championship. So why book a match knowing that you can't have a fucking winner? It's almost as if you're insulting their fucking intelligence. It's ridiculous. Monday Night Raw is fucking awful. I swear to God, I fucking hate the show more than I hate anything else. I really do. It is so bad. Bray Wyatt. I got news on Bray Wyatt, man. Rumor killer on Bray Wyatt being depressed and off WWE TV. Well, if Bray Wyatt is booked like a fucking loser, it's not difficult to see why he's fucking depressed. If Bray Wyatt had his gimmick taken from him, his creative genius taken from him, given to a female in Alexa Bliss, I could see why he's depressed. He wrestles on Monday Night Raw. I could see why he's depressed. There's a lot of reasons for Bray Wyatt being depressed. But there's a rumor killer on Bray Wyatt. Why isn't he on TV? According to the Dirty Sheets Patreon page, this is Bill Body of Dirty Sheets. He also works with Vince Russo weekly on one of their shows on Vince Russo's The Brand Network. He's a good guy. He's a good guy. He knows his shit. Bray Wyatt asked for some time off to deal with some mental health issues. Wyatt is still coping with the death of his close friend, John Huber, a.k.a. Brody Lee, who passed away in December of 2020. While Wyatt was written off TV before Brody Lee's death, Brody's fate was known by many of his close friends several weeks in advance. Now, Bray Wyatt, he appeared after WrestleMania, and he was on the Raw after WrestleMania, but then he vanished. Some fans haven't seen him since. So there's a reason for his absence, but it is shrouded in mystery, much like his character. Now, before I continue, I had people tweet at me. I had people send me messages on Instagram. How do you feel about all the nasty things you said about Bray Wyatt while he's home dealing with mental health issues and depression? You're a fucking asshole, JD. I hear this shit all week because of my stance on how Bray Wyatt and The Fiend character is fucking terrible. The Fiend character is terrible, folks. I never mentioned anything about Wyndham Rotunda. Another one of these situations where they take me talking about a character and perceiving it as if I'm talking about the human being behind the fucking character. Give me a fucking break, will you? Now, as far as The Fiend goes, according to Fightful, there were many that were unable to confirm any of these rumors about a personal situation that is keeping Wyatt off television. Talent who responded said that they hadn't heard about any type of situation with him being home and having to deal with mental health issues. Several WWE superstars said that they've seen Bray Wyatt and he seemed fine and not injured. He was also backstage at more than one Raw since he disappeared after WrestleMania. So if he showed up to work, ready to work, I guess he doesn't have mental health issues. So that rumor is now debunked, which made everybody that reached out to me to call me an asshole for making fun of The Fiend because he has mental issues. You all look like a bunch of fucking idiots. And rightfully so. The Fiend still sucks, okay? Now, talent that we spoke to, says Fightful, and staff that they spoke to say that they worked closely with Bray Wyatt. They see no rumors here of this situation, and they believe Wyatt wants to be on TV. They also heard about no specific reason why Wyatt was off television other than he's just off television. It was also noted that Bray Wyatt hasn't been seen on Raw in the past several weeks. We are still unclear why Wyatt is no longer on television, but Alexa Bliss is carrying on their creepy storyline in the meantime. Now, as far as why he's off TV, listen, folks, your guess is as good as mine. I mean, I don't really know why he's off TV, but I will say this. If Bray Wyatt is off TV, it may have something to do with Bray Wyatt's appearance. When Bray Wyatt first showed back up on television and he made his return to confront Randy Orton, Bray Wyatt looked a lot heavier than I previously saw him. And I mentioned this several months ago. When Bray Wyatt was on television, he was looking fit. He looked great. He got himself into great shape. At once upon a time, Wyatt in the Fiend character, he looked as slim as he's ever looked. But when I seen Bray Wyatt the last time, Bray Wyatt looked like he gained a lot of weight. Bray Wyatt looked like when he was back in the day, the Eater of Worlds character. He looked out of shape. He looked husky. Okay? No pun intended. Now, I don't know if that's the case or not, but it may be a case where Vince took him off TV because he wasn't pleased with the way Bray Wyatt was looking as far as his body type. Maybe Vince wanted him to go home and lose some weight. He gave him the courtesy to give him some time off to go and fix himself. Maybe he's an understanding guy. Maybe he realizes that, listen, one of your close personal friends passed away. People grieve in different ways. Maybe Bray put on weight. Who knows? Who knows? But WWE needed him back in time for WrestleMania. They weren't pleased with the way he was looking. There's no reason why Bray had to lose at WrestleMania when it was set up for him to easily beat Randy Orton. All of this really, like the report said, is shrouded in mystery. But I'm going to go and say that I don't think Vince and WWE management was pleased with the way Bray Wyatt looked appearance-wise. Now, I don't know why they took the Fiend character and gave it to Alexa. I don't know what they have planned for him. It's actually funny that they took his Fiend character and have given it to Alexa Bliss and kind of changed it a little bit to fit her character. Meanwhile, this was his creation. It's almost as if they planned to do it. It comes off seriously like they planned to do this. Is Bray going to reinvent himself again? He went from the Eater of Worlds, which was my favorite character of Bray Wyatt. The early incarnation of that character was the best incarnation of the Bray Wyatt character. The Fiend character hit home. It really hit when he first came out at SummerSlam a couple of years back, made the entrance with the theme, wrestling Finn Balor. After that, they fucked him up, and he never recovered, man. I don't need to go into the story of the Fiend. I don't. Seth Rollins, Hell in a Cell, Goldberg, John Cena, Firefly Funhouse. I don't need to go into all this. Braun Strowman, Swamp Match. It sucks. Everything about it was fucking garbage. It's fucking stupid. I don't want supernatural shit in my wrestling now. It's 2021. We're not fucking in the 90s anymore, okay? Give me a break. Bray Wyatt doing the Eater of Worlds was the best Bray Wyatt. But I don't know where they're going with this. At this point, I don't care. They ruined him and tarnished him so badly that I don't give a fuck what happens to him. I really don't. He's no factor to him, or he's no factor to Raw when he's on the show. He's no factor being away from the show. Nobody's watching for Bray Wyatt. The feud with Randy Orton was fucking terrible. Who cares? Who cares? You wanted to believe in something, and I keep telling every single one of you, stop believing. Once WWE gets their fucking fingerprints on it, it's not the same. It's not. They realize that they have a money-making machine in this guy, and they fucked it up. Nothing was ever genuine about the character ever again. The Firefly Funhouse started out as creativity. It was fucking great. The first couple of episodes with the tease of what's the Fiend look like? What does he look like? Then you see little glimpses of him. He came out. Everybody was going crazy. Then they ruined it. The whole vibe of that vignette and the skits were ruined. Then they were shot backstage. They all looked the same. The puppets, this and that. They introduced fucking Wobbly Walrus, and now Alexa Bliss is in it. Even with Alexa Bliss being involved, it started off great. And then you could see them taking more and more of the Fiend and just giving it to Alexa. It goes to show you how, I don't know if there's something with him backstage, but it's almost as if they love finding ways to bury him and to ruin him. And I don't know why. Now, again, I don't know where he goes. Is he a vital part to the show? No, he's not. He's not a difference maker at all. But is WWE selling this guy short? Are they fucking themselves over? Yeah. That Bray Wyatt character, the Eater of Worlds Bray Wyatt character, should have been WWE champion. That should have been your biggest heel in the company. A guy like that with that type of gimmick, sadistic and fucking mental like that, you don't find somebody to play that character like that, every single day, man. That's a rarity. He had something special. He fucked it up. Bray Wyatt, I don't know why he's not on TV. It just goes to show you that maybe Bray Wyatt doesn't fit into WWE TV. Maybe they realized that it was too cheesy. Or maybe they just have their blonde love for Alexa Bliss, and they think that she could do it better, and she's more creepy than Bray Wyatt. Maybe they think they'll get more mileage out of the character with Alexa Bliss doing it than Bray Wyatt would. I have no idea. I have no idea what they're thinking. More than likely, it's a political thing, and they don't give a shit about Wyndham or Bray or his creativity whatsoever, which will always lead to us saying, you know what, he's better off out of WWE. Now, speaking of Alexa Bliss, they have an insane possible end game for her new character with a possible live version of Lilly the Doll. This is coming from PW Insider, that WWE could have a very interesting end game for this storyline. It was said that Bliss might end up managing the live version of the doll. There is also a chance that Lilly is simply a storyline device and she will fade away when the time comes. WWE is already cashing in on the new Bliss Lilly merchandise in a big way on their official shop. If you go out and buy that, you got some serious fucking issues. It's not likely they will cut it out as long as the merchandise keeps selling. So this is pretty much Bray Wyatt's gimmick. This is Alexa Bliss's sister Abigail, her doll Lilly that she grew up with. That's speaking in all these fucking demonic tones, and she's giving her these nasty thoughts. So who plays the live adaptation of Lilly the Doll? Everybody for years were saying Alexa Bliss would make a perfect Sister Abigail. And they actually went and did that. Maybe Bray is a little bit more in tune with what the IWC has been asking for. That's why Alexa Bliss was chosen. I would assume that Wyndham had a big hand in choosing Alexa Bliss. This actually backfired on him, as now she is pretty much what his character was. But who is going to play the live adaptation of Lilly the Doll? There's one person that comes to mind. There's one person that comes to mind, and she's in NXT. And a lot of people are probably wondering, JD, what about Nikki Cross? Could be. I don't think WWE really gives you shit about Nikki Cross to give her that type of role. But I would say there's one person in NXT, Darby's ex-wife, Gigi Dolan. I think that's who would be a great Lilly the Doll. She's got the look for it down to the T. That's just my take there. I don't know if that is the case. I don't know. This is just a rumor right now. We don't even know if this is legit. So that's my take there. Again, I don't really care. I do not like the way that Alexa Bliss is the centerpiece of the women's division when you got Rhea Ripley, who you just brought up, who should be your number one priority over Asuka. Now you got this. You got Alexa Bliss over Asuka, over Rhea. She's being built around Charlotte as well and the rest of the women. You know, it's sad. It really is sad where WWE has taken their women's division. It's not good at all. But I think if there was a live version of the doll, that Gigi Dolan in NXT would be a perfect substitute for that live adaptation of Lilly the Doll. The latest on the Velveteen Dream. He was backstage at Monday Night's Raw. PW Insider reported that WWE had him backstage, but they didn't have any creative plans for him on the show. However, Dave Meltzer noted in the recent Observer newsletter that the Dream was back at the Performance Center this week, training after he's not been seen there for quite some time. This would appear to mean that perhaps WWE is getting ready for him to return since he is training again. It was added that Dream has not been seen at the Performance Center in recent months. He hasn't appeared on television since his match against Adam Cole on the December 23rd edition of NXT. This was after his absence for about a month since September, and he's only worked 5 matches. Before that, he had been involved in a program with Kushida and Johnny Gargano for the NXT North American Championship. Dream was involved in a car accident, but was also accused of sending inappropriate photos and texts to young kids last year. There's been nothing reported about when he could return to television in months. I don't know where Dream fits in, man. The fact that he was backstage, I don't think it had anything to do with him making a main roster debut. I don't. I think that Dream was backstage for a reason, and Dream was called to Monday Night Raw to meet with Vince McMahon. That's what I do think the situation is. I think he met with Vince McMahon. I think he aired all this situation with Vince McMahon. I think WWE has taken care of all this situation, and they don't want to let Dream go. That's the fucking problem. They find major potential in Dream. Everybody finds major potential in the Velveteen Dream. Will he overcome it? I don't know. This is a very sticky situation. Fans will never embrace him like they once did, ever. That's just my feeling there. But I do think that WWE does not want to let him go. I do think that they find something in him of value. He met with Vince McMahon. They aired whatever they need to air. They talked about whatever they need to talk about. WWE took care of all this situation. He's back to work, and they're going to come up with plans to get him back involved on NXT. He's young enough to a point where, he's still got a lot to learn, and the future is there for him. Are fans going to embrace him? No. Does everybody deserve a second chance? That's up to you to decide. I'm not going to say either way. I'm not. Do I think people genuinely deserve a second chance? Yes, I do. Do I think people can change? Yes, I do. We don't know about any of this situation. You, me, him. Nobody knows about this, okay? Nobody knows what's going on here. So if everybody claiming they want him fired, I don't think WWE, and I mean this, I don't know what happened with him, nor do I care. It's fucked up. It's sick. And if he's guilty, then he should not be fucking in the company, period. I don't want to see him in the public eye. He's a fucking disgusting animal, okay? But I don't think WWE, if these were true, would have him back training or even employed with the company. It's a bad move as far as a publicly traded company goes. Shareholders would drop off. Sponsors would drop off. If WWE knew anything about this situation to be true, he'd be gone already. So the fact that WWE still has him employed and they have him back training at the Performance Center, sponsors haven't dropped off, shareholders haven't dropped off. Maybe WWE's taking care of it. Maybe it was all blown out of proportion. I don't know. But Velveteen Dream is back. Whether you want to hear it or not, Velveteen Dream is back. Will he ever be the same? No, he's not. He's not going to be that Dream of old where we were talking about him potentially being on the main roster, being WWE champion and having all the fucking ceiling in the world to just go out there and be one of the biggest names in the company. That is gone. It's going to be very difficult for him to come back from this and be successful. Really. Nobody will ever embrace him again just because of what happens. And every time he's on TV, he's going to hear about this until the day he retires. Because that's the way social media is nowadays. He will never let go. He will never have the opportunity to let this thing go, and people will make sure that they see him fall. Something will come up again where Dream gets thrown into the same fire he was once in, and it's never going to leave him. That's what his future is. That's what awaits him. It's sad, but that's the state of social media. Possible plans for Eva Marie on Raw. This is something I really don't want to go over. This is our future on Monday night, not one that I'm looking forward to, folks. Eva Marie returned to WWE for the first time in 5 years during last week's episode of Monday Night Raw with the company promoting Evolution. De-Evolution is coming to Monday Night Raw. Another vignette aired this week where Eva Marie was reciting some inspirational quotes and she was being photographed like she was being shot for a fucking swimsuit magazine or a calendar of some sort. Everything but pro wrestling is what I'm looking at when I look at Eva Marie. Inspirational quotes about being a super role model. And many people thought that the vignettes were setting up Eva Marie to return as a heel, but Dave Meltzer is reporting on the latest Wrestling Observer Radio that the former Total Divas star is actually going to be a babyface. Meltzer also drew the comparison between Eva Marie's new gimmick and former WWE star Tennille Dashwood, a.k.a. Emma, when WWE presented her as Emmalina before dropping that gimmick. They dropped the gimmick because Emma didn't want to do it. Tennille Dashwood didn't want to do it because it wasn't her. But, I mean, you could really attack that the way you want. Do what Vince McMahon asks. Vince McMahon apparently was very hands-on with the Emmalina character, but she thought deep down, listen, I want to, but I can't. It's not me. It's very difficult for me to be this because it's not me. She was real. She was genuine. She was honest. And then she got let go. Meltzer says this, and I quote, or Alvarez says this first, and I quote, "We had another Eva Marie video package. There were two of them on this show, and I could be wrong here, but what she seems to be trying to do is be like a babyface motivational speaker." Alvarez said that. Meltzer says, oh, absolutely. She's being a babyface, yes. Alvarez then says, well, Eva Marie is a babyface motivational speaker is what you're saying. Meltzer says, well, I don't know about a motivational speaker, but role model in a sense. Alvarez then says, but a positive role model, not like Bayley or Britt Baker. She thinks she's a role model. Meltzer then says, The idea is she's a supermodel who's worked hard to become a supermodel, and somehow, the idea is she's certainly a celebrity who wants to help other people. So she's a babyface, but it's weird. It's actually, if you think about it, a couple of years ago, and right down to the evolution, you remember Emma-lution? I mean, this is basically the Emma character that they teased for like whatever it was, 6 months, and then 1 week after she debuts, they drop the whole thing because they feel she can't pull it off. After months, although Emma was a heel. But it's a very similar situation to that character that they were going with Emma years ago. So I find this all very just fucking bizarre, man. Back when that was a thing, John Laurinaitis was head of talent relations, man. Now that John Laurinaitis is back, it seems like this was discussed in the creative meetings. We want to bring Eva Marie back. We got her signed to the company. We had her signed since last year. What do we do with her? Can't bring her back as the old Eva Marie. It's the same shit. She can't fucking wrestle. So what do we do? What type of gimmick, what type of direction we got? Johnny Laurinaitis probably went into Vince McMahon's creative meeting and said, well, Vince, how about we do that old Emelina shtick that we did that didn't work and we do it with Eva? Eva Marie. Eva power. Eva Marie power. Supermodel role power. Whatever. This shit sucks, man. Eva Marie, I don't know how many times I could express this to some people. I'm waiting for this shit to fail. I take great pleasure in seeing shit like this fail. I can't wait for it to fail. Get her off my TV. She's going to be a disaster amongst disasters that nobody will ever forget. I'm telling you right now. This shit is so far from what WWE wants as far as a revolution goes. It's not even funny. A de-evolution is what we're calling it here. It's not an evolution. How dare you? You're mocking everybody that fought for women's wrestling here. With Eva Marie being brought back, nothing she's done has depicted pro wrestling at all. So what exactly are we doing here? Are we moving forward with the evolution of women's wrestling? Or are we going back to people power and what they think is women's wrestling? Breasts and fucking ass and red hair and supermodels. That's what they think pro wrestling is. That's their vision. We moved away from that. Now we got Eva Marie back on television, man. I can't wait to see this fucking fail epically. I'm going to laugh at everybody's fucking face. Eva Marie is the fucking de-evolution of women's wrestling. This is moving several steps backwards in everything. Everything. Keith Lee. Update on Keith Lee. During Wrestling Observer Radio, there's always a fucking update about Keith Lee. Dave Meltzer was asked about Keith Lee's status during a mailbag question. He says, and I quote, I don't know anything that's going on with Keith Lee. He's obviously okay, but he's not being used. I don't know what the whole story is. He then followed up and said Keith Lee is apparently okay, ready to wrestle, says Dave Meltzer. But WWE hasn't put him in any storylines. They're just not booking him. So Keith Lee took to social media and he cryptically tweeted, and I quote, today is a day that can and will define the future. The wills can have motion and move forward, or they can stop completely. Make your wheels turn, accept no substitute. Lee then posted a picture of him next to an NXT TakeOver War Games cage, leading fans to speculate what that could mean. Keith Lee's WWE status doesn't seem all that positive at the moment. Folks, there's a lot of talk about Keith Lee on social media. Where's Keith Lee? What's going on with him? Fans tweeting Keith Lee. Why hasn't he been used? He's one of the bigger guys on Monday Night Raw that has fucking superstar potential. Why isn't he in the thick of things? Why wasn't he at WrestleMania? Folks, I'm gonna break it down as simply as I can for you. This is not that difficult to figure out. Keith Lee was fucking buried on night one. They changed his theme music to some generic 2K community creation shit. They put this guy in a fucking singlet. They took this guy's great moveset and had him work a big man match like Mark Henry or The Big Show or Kane. They molded this guy into everything but Keith Lee and what Keith Lee made special. I don't want to see Keith Lee work a Mark Henry Big Show Kane match. I want to see Keith Lee fucking do planches. I want to see Keith Lee do moonsaults. I want to see Keith Lee fling motherfuckers around and throw his weight around and be athletic like a fucking cruiserweight like we know he can. That's what Keith Lee is, and that's what's special about Keith Lee. Why isn't Keith Lee on Monday Night Raw? They ruined this guy and showed you exactly what they want out of Keith Lee. It's not that difficult to figure out, folks. Keith Lee is home because he doesn't have COVID. He's not hurt. He's not hurt. He was never hurt. Keith Lee is home because WWE, and I would bet a lot of money on this, Keith Lee is home because WWE management, Vince, Bruce, and everybody else either told him to go get better in the ring and do what we need to do, otherwise you're not going to have a spot here. Or number two, which is more than likely the reason, they told him to go home and lose weight. Keith Lee is, in their eyes, not in my eyes, don't misconstrue my words, Vince and Bruce think Keith Lee is fat. Keith Lee is a fat black guy on Monday Night Raw that they have absolutely no promise in. There's no potential there because he looks the way he does. Now I'm going to bring two situations up that people came to me on social media with. Well, JD, Kevin Owens is fat according to them too. Let me tell you something, folks. If I got to explain to you the difference between Keith Lee and Kevin Owens, you don't really pay that close enough attention. Okay? We all know what Vince McMahon and Bruce Pritchard, how they think, okay? Keith Lee is not Kevin Owens, and Kevin Owens is not Keith Lee, okay? Well, what does his skin color have to do with when Bobby Lashley's the WWE champion? Folks, Bobby Lashley, have you looked at Bobby Lashley? Does he look like Keith Lee? That's why he's the WWE champion. Would you ever see Keith Lee the way he was portrayed in NXT? Would you ever see a championship belt on Keith Lee the way he was immediately when he was called up from NXT? No. They wanted to change him into what Vince McMahon thought Keith Lee should look like, and that means Keith Lee was sent home to go lose weight. That's exactly what happened here. Absolutely what happened here. And I bet that's the hat, that's the fucking hill that I stamp my hat on right there. Keith Lee is home losing weight. If he doesn't lose weight, he's not going to have a spot on TV. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I hope I'm not. Either that or they're fucking stupid. One or the other. Humberto, speaking of stupid, injury scare. PW Insider and Dave Meltzer report that Carrillo was okay after landing bad after the botched sunset flip bomb on the outside. This wasn't the planned finish for Sheamus to be declared the winner after a stoppage, but rather after the landing, Carrillo signaled for the referee and then was checked on by medical. WWE's official website notes that Sheamus won the match via referee stoppage because that was the original ending to the match anyway. Meltzer stated on The Observer this week, so Humberto Carrillo is okay. If he needed to wrestle tomorrow, he could. They may do an injury angle out of it, but he's fine. That wasn't the planned finish. So there you go. Humberto Carrillo versus Sheamus for the United States Championship. Will that be added to the show tomorrow? Probably not. They'll save that for Monday Night Raw, or they may go with, what's his name, Mansoor, who's been off TV for 2 weeks now after he debuted. And finally, guys, before we get the hell on out of here, reason why Jeff Hardy is losing matches, big plans for Jinder Mahal. The modern-day Maharaja. Jinder Mahal's back. Yeah, it's great, man. Monday Night Raw is such in a good state right now. Eva Marie, Jinder Mahal. Holy shit. One of the topics of conversation this week was Jeff Hardy being squashed by Jinder Mahal on Raw. There's been speculation that Hardy is being buried by WWE because his contract may be coming up. WrestlingNews.co asked someone at WWE about this, and they were told that Hardy has 2 more years left on his WWE deal. Hardy said last year during an interview that he re-signed with the company, and the plan is for him to bring back No More Words and his entrance music from old back when WWE goes on the road. They were also told that the change of theme music is still in the cards and he is not getting buried. We were told that WWE is simply rotating talent, so some people will be moved to the back burner for now. This is essentially what happened with wrestlers like Angel Garza, Nikki Cross, and Humberto Carrillo. Man, that back burner seems to be burning a little bit too long. Back burner my fucking ass, back burner. Humberto Carrillo's been on the back burner for what, 3 years now? That's a long fucking time to be sitting on the goddamn back burner. That just means WWE's got no plans for Humberto Carrillo. Why is he on TV now, JD? Because Sheamus has no fucking opponents. They got half the fucking mid-card tied up in tag teams. Open your fucking eyes, you fucking idiots. Where's Sheamus's opponents? They're lined up in fucking tag teams. That's where they are. That's why you got Mansoor and Humberto magically making appearances after fucking what? 67 months off television. Angel Garza. Where's Garza been? He's over there shoving roses up Gulak's ass. Nikki Cross. Where's she been? She was a part of the Alexa Bliss act. Is she blonde? No, she's not. That's why she's not on TV. Give me a break. Jeff Hardy. Listen, man. Jeff Hardy is merely being used as a former WWE champion to get Jinder Mahal over. I don't know what people are so upset about here. Why are they so, oh my God, Jeff's being buried. Jeff's got 2 years, folks. He's got 2 years. Let him do his 2 years. You'll hear no more words. Two more years. Then he goes to AEW and he ends his career in AEW with Jeff and Matt together, and they challenge for the tag team championships. One final run to hold the tag team titles in AEW because that's the only set of tag team gold that they probably never held in their career. Now, as far as the Jinder Mahal push, we're told that Mahal is slated to get a big push, and the idea is to build him up for an eventual feud with Drew McIntyre in the summer months. So that's that. I don't really care for that. I think that is what's going to bring Monday Night Raw to its fucking downfall completely if we're not already there. We're on the brink of annihilation with Monday Night Raw. This is exactly what's going to bring it to that brink. I don't really understand who's excited about Jinder Mahal and Drew Mac. Oh, but the story is there. 3MB? 3MB was such a beloved act in WWE that you cared to see Jinder Mahal, who wrestles like he's a sheet of fucking glass, afraid to shatter, against Drew McIntyre, who a lot of people right now are losing incredible faith in because he's a boring babyface possible champion after Sunday. WWE needs to do things a little bit different on Monday night. Jinder Mahal is not it. We'll discuss this as we move forward when we see the plans actually unfold on Monday night. I already gave my piece and said my piece on Friday Night SmackDown. How I changed Monday Night Raw? That's how I changed Monday Night Raw. Go listen to that. It's quite the listen. Guys, I'm getting out of here. If you enjoyed today's podcast, let me know what you think down below. Make sure you guys follow me on social media at JD from NY206. That's on Twitter and Instagram. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for all notifications. And make sure you guys hit that thumbs up. Let's try for 1,200 thumbs up on the video today. I will see you guys back tomorrow night, Sunday night, for WWE Backlash and the post show live on YouTube. Make sure you guys also check out my sponsor for today's show, advanced.gg is the website. Use code SCRIPT at checkout for 10% off. And I will see you guys, like I said, on Backlash Sunday, live on YouTube with Off the Script and the post show. Until then, guys, Twitter, Instagram, subscribe, hit that thumbs up, turn on the bell. You guys know the deal, and I'll see you tomorrow night for Backlash right here on OTS. See you guys later.